Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
HitThatOne.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
Welcome into a Fast Break Friday edition of The Morning Rush. We are going to talk some basketball, but you heard Dan Enos and Brandon Allen mic'd up back in 2015. Dan Enos officially announced yesterday as Arkansas's new offensive coordinator. Got a picture of him in Pittman's office that they also posted yesterday. What do you like? What do you dislike? I've gotten a bunch of different feedback on this. Could have done better. Could have done worse. What do you think this morning? We'll start here again on a pseudo fast break / football Friday.
It's brought to you by QC Kinetics. Tommy Kraft here to tell you more about QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. Their unique protocols take the healing agents from your body to heal that joint pain. So if you've started the new year with back, hip, shoulder, knees, any of those things that are bothering you, QC Kinetics has a unique way of healing your joint pain and making you feel better and using everything from your body to do that. This is the future of joint pain management and will make you feel a lot better. Appointments are available for next week. Call 479-999-1234. That's 999-1234 for QC Kinetics right here in Northwest Arkansas.
Got Arkansas basketball tomorrow at 11 o'clock against Ole Miss. I've got my coffee. It's going to hopefully be a good weekend. This is a Chuck Barrett weekend. Game's done early. His work's done. He can relax after about, 2 or 3 o'clock, and then he can have the rest of the weekend to himself to watch some good football games as well. My goodness gracious. Burrow, Allen, Mahomes back playing. You got an NFC duel between the Giants and the Eagles. I mean, this is going to be, and then, of course, the Dallas Cowboys prime time Sunday night. I had forgotten that they lost to the Niners last year in the playoffs. Completely forgot about that at home as the winner of the NFC East last year. And Niners come in as a wild card team and beat them. So there's a revenge factor as well, going to Levi Stadium and taking down old San Fran and Brock Purdy. And it's not just about Brock Purdy. It's more about Kyle Shanahan, who's an outstanding coach.
Well, we'll see if the stage is too big for Purdy. We'll see if the stage is too big for Dak Prescott even. But that's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm still interested or find it intriguing on the bet Saracen app. What is it, 4? I think the line is still somewhere around 4. I didn't look this morning, but Cowboys getting 4 points. You would think with kind of everything, but that tells you the value of Micah Parsons. That tells you the value of the defense. But you would think of all the lines, that one might be a point or two higher than 4.
It's the lowest point total of any of the game this week in the National Football League. And that includes,
Hope it doesn't come down to a field goal.
Yeah, I thought that even the Bills and Bengals might be like a 2 or 3 point spread, but the Bengals are, I think, 5-point underdogs in that one. So it's gonna be a fun match. 5.5-point underdogs in that one. It's gonna be a fun weekend. I can't wait. Divisional. I maintain that the divisional round weekend is the best in the National Football League playoffs-wise. Not to say that we haven't had some great AFC, NFC championship games over the years. I think back to that Mahomes-Brady battle in Arrowhead, 37-31 in OT. Mahomes didn't get that chance in OT until they changed the rule because Brady just took him down and scored that touchdown. So there have been some great AFC, NFC championship games, but for my money, this is the weekend that the National Football League is on full display, and you're going to have some great games.
Well, I still prefer the following weekend, the 2 championship games. That's just one great day of football. So, but you're right. It's a fun weekend. You get 4 good games. I think generally conference championship weekend just rarely if ever fails you. Seems like it's always 2 good quality games there. So looking forward to it. And when the Super Bowl, a trip to the Super Bowl is on the line, and you're playing at home fields, it's not as sterile as a Super Bowl environment's not always hyped and because
it's horrible.
It's corporate.
Yeah, it's corporate.
It's corporate. Everybody's got the corporate seats there. So I really enjoy the following weekend, but this one's good too.
Is next weekend corporate if Bills and Chiefs make
point.
it? I was thinking about that. How is the NFL? You asked the question. I didn't know the answer.
I don't know how they distribute them. Yeah.
How they're going to. That should be and they won't do this, but you've got to give those to fans.
I think they're on Craigslist. I think they just put them on Craigslist, and it's kind of first come, first serve. Kind of like looking for a roommate on the bulletin board. You just grab a tab there.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do. I would like to think that both franchises that get in. Who was it? I heard Bruskin and Zach or someone, maybe a halftime guys, talking about one of the teams is already selling tickets and they ain't gotten in the game yet.
That's dangerous.
Yeah,
that's a dangerous
and they were talking
game.
about the motivation fight. I don't remember who it was, but the point is, clearly the teams are selling tickets. So I think that's what you got to do, right? You got the 4 teams involved. If the possibility is they would have to go to Atlanta, you let them all pre-sale, and that way fans can at least, buy maybe you can buy a refundable airplane ticket. For a lot of them, you can't drive that, so Atlanta's accessible from anywhere. Yeah. So that's what, if I was a fan of the Chiefs, I'd have me a refundable Southwest flight, or maybe not Southwest, someone to get me from Kansas City to Atlanta the day before the game.
Delta, if I had to guess.
I don't know about Delta either, but anyway, point being, you got to make plans. You just can't wait till Sunday afternoon or evening to make your plans.
Yeah. It's also cracking up yesterday. I didn't know this was a Dan Enos term, but Clay brought this up.
Juicy throw. Juicy.
Apparently he says that a lot after a big play. Juicy play. Juicy throw. You heard it in the open this morning, him talking with Brandon Allen. Austin Allen is there too, and then him joking with Jonathan Williams. But he needs to find that quick rapport with his new starting quarterback, KJ Jefferson. They need to get some synergy. They need to get synced up, and I don't know how long that takes for some guys and gals you meet, like your best friend, like you probably just had it instantaneously. Like my best friend, like when we were in college, sophomore year, just after that, it was a wagon. Like we were just good after that. Now some it takes longer, but for a quarterback OC combo, you've got to hopefully, and especially with they're only going to have what is perceived to be a couple months together before the spring and the season. You kind of got to get that thing in turbo drive, Tommy.
That's the first person you need to recruit. You don't need to worry. You don't need to recruit the 24s or the 25s. The first person Dan Enos needs to recruit is old number 1 that's on your roster. So that'd be where I'd start. And I'm sure they've already. I bet they had conversations before we knew the dust had even settled on this thing. But we got a story on our website, hitthatline.com, that maybe Pittman had gotten to the point in this thing that Briles was asked to leave or pushed out, or however you want to frame it. You think that's the way this went down when he came back the second time, or do you think maybe Pittman in his mind came to the conclusion that I might be just as well off or better off with Enos? I think that's where we want to go to as fans. We want the comfort of the thought that you're better off, but there's some things about what Briles accomplished here with what he had to work with that's going to be hard to replace.
You can only go to the well so many times, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if that happened after State and then in the midst of what was going on with TCU, then it was just Sam was like, all right, time to cut ties. Kid will go to Fort Worth.
I don't think I'd go as far as I saw some posts saying he was fired. I don't think that's accurate either, though.
No.
Hey, the Bobby Garland Baby Shad's the number 1 soft plastic crappie lure you should have on your boat if you're headed out to the water this weekend. It's going to be a great weekend for some crappie fishing. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad's the number 1 volume lure made by Pradco right here in Arkansas. In fact, they make them by the millions down to their Fort Smith plant. So get by Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com. Get you that Bobby Garland Baby Shad. And you can get on the water. You can get some of that crappie going. Bring me and Ty a big mess of it. That's Pradco, and that's the Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk some basketball on the Morning Rush.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. big old slab. C'est bon, Sakhalin.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
One call cleans it all.
Older and located in Arkansas or Tennessee to bet. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized dealer in the River Valley. You might know us as your source for large Xerox multifunction or production printers. But for many of you, your needs have changed. Smaller equipment has become more necessary, and we are here to help. We carry the Xerox desktop models, but also brother workhorse printers and multifunctions with 3-year replacement warranties included. So give us a call at 479-783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document solutions to the River Valley.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shop, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by 7320 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith or call 648-3342. You can also catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
Do you remember the joy you felt as a kid about pizza night? Remember how good it smelled? You could taste it even before you opened the box. And then that first bite. It was so good. Be the supper time savior. Order Jim's Razorback Pizza now. 434-3456. The best pizza in Fort Smith, or it's free.
Jim's Razorback Pizza. Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I appreciate Ty, you and Tommy having me on this morning. It's always great to join the morning rush.
Black drives, dishes in the corner. Devo, three-pointer good. 2 threes in the half for Davis. The Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Brought to you by Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. You can listen to it at hitthatline.com or wherever you hear your favorite podcasts.
Back here on the Morning Rush, we're going to talk some Razorback basketball coming up. You've got the Hogs and the Rebs tomorrow at 11 o'clock inside of Bud Walton Arena. It's good to be back home, and it's always good to be good talking Arkansas basketball. It's also good to stop by CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers in Russellville and Fayetteville. So if you're driving from Central Arkansas and you're on the way up, or if you're just in the River Valley area and you want to stop by there, or you want to stop by the Fayetteville location on Weddington, you can do that. At CJ's, not only is it a great burger, but you're going to have awesome fries, the fry sauce that Tommy and I always are on about. I had the chicken sandwich last time, which was fantastic. They have salads there as well. You could do the grilled chicken and the burger options at the Fayetteville location. And my new favorite thing at CJ's is the brown sugar cinnamon shake, which is unbelievable. I've gotten it the last 2 times that I've been there.
So, chicken sandwich, pepper jack cheese. I like a little tomato and pickle. Go fry sauce instead of mayonnaise. And then I've started adding the grilled jalapenos. So, tuck that one away. Use that, little fries. And I hadn't tried that new shake yet, but, because I'm on a diet. So I'll eat the fries and the chicken sandwich.
Well, you did a chicken sandwich. That counts.
Hey, I burned 1,000 calories today. Why'd you do that? I didn't get the milkshake.
The grilled chicken sandwich. Again, it's
the small fries instead of the large.
It's a little thing. I left a few of them on my plate. It's just like the little things. It's like I tell you, I got a small ranch instead of a large ranch. I had spinach on the pizza. That's just the little things that count.
I had a coach tell me one time, man, he called me about something. Man, I just burnt 4,000 calories. I said, you did what? How'd you do that? He didn't burn 4,000 calories. You know how long that'd take us? No. Left the cookies in the oven too long. Left a whole batch of cookies in the oven way too long. Burnt 4,000 calories.
Golly. And I'm sure he made another batch right after
Oh, man.
that.
That's hilarious.
So as we land the plane here again, CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers in Fayetteville and in Russellville. When all you do are burgers, they have to be the best. And trust me, they are at CJ's.
11 a.m. game tomorrow. Go to the game, roll out, head over to CJ's on Weddington.
That is an idea that a lot of people, I think, will do. Tell Keith that we said hi. I know he'll probably be at the game. He's actually Brinley's actually got a game tomorrow, I think, kind of around that time. So he might not be at the game, or we might try and hit both on that. All right, let's talk this basketball team. Ricky Council yesterday was named the U.S. Basketball Writers Association Oscar Robertson Trophy midseason watch list, and that's an award that Arkansas fans, I don't think, expected Ricky to be anywhere near. Maybe Anthony Black, maybe Nick Smith Jr., but Ricky's been your most consistent player. I think he's scored double digits in 17 of the 18 games this season. So he's been really, really good for you. Now, he's had to make an adjustment to SEC play and how there's more length guarding him. His pull-up is not as flawless as it looked in non-conference play because, again, the defense that he's having to go up against in the Southeastern Conference is a lot better. But he's still your most electric player with Trevin Brazile out. He's the guy that can get his own shot probably better than anyone else on the team, maybe with the exception of Devontae Davis. And he, I think in some cases, needs to be your closer. Now, he had a charge the other night down the stretch that was huge. That wasn't, and I say it got called a charge. It wasn't really a charge. But Ricky needs to be a guy that really steps up in this game tomorrow and gets them their first win in, 2 or 3 weeks?
I don't know if they have a National Dunker of the Year in college basketball. Maybe we should give away the Morning Rush Collegiate Dunker of the Year award, brought to you by the Lower River Valley Razorback Club or something. I don't know. We can make up a name. But he would have to be on anyone's short list for one of the best dunkers in college basketball. His highlights are just incredible. And, that's going to go a long ways to furthering him playing basketball after college.
Yeah, you got Brandon Dean, Michael Qualls, Sonny Weems. Who am I missing out? Because he's in that special Razorback athleticism category.
Maybe one of the most famous dunks of all times is Super Sid, Texas, Sports Illustrated cover. I don't know if you put him as best dunker of all time, but that's maybe the most famous dunk because that cover of Sports Illustrated, if you're of a certain age, that's burned into your memory. That's in your DNA, that picture.
I was surprised.
Both hands cocked back. I mean, that's a great photo.
And he looks just angry. He's like,
yeah.
You can tell Sid's just about to hammer the rim.
That's one of the best. I mean, forget that it's a Razorback for me. That's just a great sports magazine cover.
Mm-hmm.
If you just sat down and say, hey, what's some of the best sports magazine covers of all time, cover photos, man, I know we're biased, but that's got to be one of them.
The cool thing about Sidney Moncrief is he's such a nice guy, too, and he is so revered not only in this state, but they love him in Milwaukee. I mean, you've got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who won a championship, Oscar Robertson, who we just mentioned, Sidney Moncrief, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who just won a championship for them. And then another Razorback that is the second favorite is Bobby Portis. They love Bobby in Wisconsin. I'm telling you, there's Giannis, and then Bobby is number 2 in that state. It's pretty crazy. Now, football-wise, Packers, Rodgers, Wisconsin and stuff, but it's pretty cool to see 2 former Razorbacks that have made such an impact in the Milwaukee Bucks franchise. But kind of back to Ricky for a sec. I think they still have that college slam dunk contest. So I would think.
Is that at the Final Four when they do that? A few days before?
I think the setup is, and I would expect Ricky to catch an invite, right? I mean, he's done enough this season to warrant that, correct? I mean,
I don't know much about the setup of that, but as I said, if there was a collegiate dunker of the year award, he should be on anyone's watch list, short list, whatever list.
Yeah, he's been good. And just a heads up for everyone, Nick Smith Jr. posted a picture of him in basketball shoes, insinuating that it looked like he was back at practice. I know I haven't seen an actual journalist say that Nick was officially back at practice yesterday, but
we're not in there watching. How are we going to say that?
Yeah, well, that's
not that we are journalists, but
that's what I'm saying.
We the media,
you can read the tea leaves to a certain extent, but that's at least some positive news that might be heading in the right direction, because as good as Ricky's been at points this season, they still need some scoring, and hopefully Nick, when he comes back, can provide that.
Yeah, that'd be a huge lift. So we'll see. I just don't want to get my hopes up too much, and then something happens and he's just done. So, hey, brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Top brands, best prices. We're talking KZ, Heartland, Keystone Alliance, and they get you a great deal, great financing right now. Here's the best part about Wheels. They're right here. They're not corporate. They're local. They got on-site storage. They got a service department that is second to none. Anything you need before or after the sale are going to be there. And that lifetime warranty on every new RV gives you the peace of mind that would make me rest easier at night at my favorite campsite. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
When we come back, Chuck's going to join us, get his thoughts, basketball, NFL weekend, and a whole lot more.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush, presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust, Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's AshleyAir.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
While most of us are familiar with the opioid epidemic, we forget about the threat we faced for decades, methamphetamine. Meth is our biggest drug threat, and the number of people dying each year continues to grow. It's destroying our communities. You know, you've seen it. It might not have been your kid or your parent, but it was someone you know. To find ways to help, go to meovermeth.org. Choose your community. Choose your family. Choose yourself. I choose me over meth.
This message is sponsored by the North Arkansas Partnership for Health Education and the Me Over Meth grant.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
And we're back with breaking news. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any Coke fan, so make sure you... Jim. Jim. We're on the air.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me. Your thoughts, Jen?
Well, can I have a sip?
Jen, we're in the middle of reporting the news.
I need to try it first.
Harry Robinson Salasol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salasol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salasol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salasol. Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache. Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Hi, this is Ricky Smith, head basketball coach for the Northside Lady Bears. I dial 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
This is Northside head basketball coach Eric Burnett. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Take advantage of York Factory rebates on high-efficiency HVAC products.
782-8940.
It's a new year. Why not put a new-to-you vehicle in your driveway? Road Chevrolet wants to buy your vehicle today, and that means you can get out of your old ride and into a great car, truck, or SUV from Road Chevrolet. In fact, trucks starting at only $14,482. Yeah, trucks starting at $14,482. Find new roads. Road Chevrolet, just off I-540 exit 2A Van Buren. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
Family first. My dad used to tell us that all the time. But family first wasn't just something he'd say to us. It was how he lived every day of his life. And it's how I try to live mine too.
At Shelter Insurance, our agents are dedicated to helping provide personalized auto, home, and life protection that puts your family first.
Call Ted McAvoy in Van Buren or Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Now, I remember y'all talking about this, having to get up in the middle of the night and pee when you get older, which I have to do now, which sucks. Like, I never had to do that, and then I turned, 26. What's that called, sleep apnea?
Well, sleep apnea is when your breathing stops. So.
Well, these are issues that, you'll deal with as you get a little bit older.
Apparently I'm dealing with them now. Oh. It's tough. I think it's the coffee I started drinking.
At 47, I still don't have to get up in the middle of the night.
I do drink a lot of water because I heard it's good for you, so maybe that's the reason why.
Maybe too good for you.
Apparently so.
Fast Break Friday brought to you by QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. Their unique protocols use the healing agents from your own body to target aching joints. Now, that is one thing that'll happen to you as you get older. Chuck will tell you, everything starts to hurt, and you get all these old injuries. And normally they're for athletes. You may not have to worry about it as much. But
you're looking at one right now.
Hips, joints, knees, back, all that stuff hurts, and they can fix it without any drugs, no surgery, no downtime with QC Kinetics. 479-999-1234. That's 999-1234 for QC Kinetics.
Would have been amazed how many scouts would come to a JV basketball game when I was playing back in the day. Chuck, good morning, man. 11 o'clock tomorrow, your favorite time to get a basketball game in.
Yeah, early game. It's kind of weird. You don't have a lot of 11 o'clock basketball games. I mean, you have some in football, but not that many in basketball, so that'll be a little strange.
Why is it we gripe and complain from the hilltops for an 11 o'clock football game? The fan base does, but an 11 a.m. basketball game, no one says a word.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Tailgate.
Well, because they want to tailgate.
Yeah.
Because they want to tailgate.
Yeah, you answered your own question. I do know a handful of Razorback fans that tailgate for every Razorback basketball game in Lot 44, but props to them, but there's not a lot of fans that do that outside of football. But Chuck, on this game tomorrow, it's a winnable game. Ole Miss has only got one conference win this season. They got it this week on the road in Columbia, so props to Kermit David and Gavis and company for doing that. You had some things that went your way on Wednesday night. You shot the ball really well from the free throw line. You had some offensive output from some guys that you didn't necessarily expect. Devo hit 3 threes for the first time in his career. What's the key to kind of keeping the offensive side without the turnovers heading into tomorrow?
Well, I think you just said it, without the turnovers, and that's a big part of it. And I thought offensively they were better, not great, but better. The thing that I thought they did Wednesday night that they'd not done at Vanderbilt particularly was compete. I thought they were a much more competitive team. I thought they were a smarter team, played with more composure. It's different at home. I would expect them to be good tomorrow. And you've got 3 straight home games now, and you need to go win.
What was the mood like on the plane? What was the team's response to losing in the fashion they did? You were there.
Well, nobody's happy. I mean, nobody's happy. I'm not going to sit here and say for one single moment that, people were walking away, thinking, well, we're better. I don't think it was like, in fact, I can tell you firsthand, it was not like that at all. I mean, it was a
good.
They were there's not any moral victories in this group.
That's what I want to hear. But I think you can make the case there was improvement in the loss. And on the TV, SEC Now on TV after the game broadcast ended, Damian Fishback was making that point that, hey, even though Arkansas lost tonight in a kind of tough fashion, the way it went down, he noticed quick improvement in this team. And I think when you breathe a little bit and you step back from it, there's some things you could take away from the other.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. But, at the end of the night, you didn't win, and you're 1-5, and that's where you are, and you got to start winning games. And the good part about that is they don't have to go on the road for a while for a conference game. So, you got 3 straight at home, and it's time to get well.
Yeah. Got 12 games left. We were kind of doing some of the math yesterday to get to 9-9. I mean, it's pretty easy. You got to win 8 of 12, and you start looking at the home. You just can't. You cannot surrender another home game. Period. You're going to get to 9-9.
If your goal is to get back to 9-9, you need to win your home games. There's no doubt because you've still got, you've got a home and home left with A&M. You got a home and home left with Kentucky. You've still got to go to Tuscaloosa. You've still got to go to Knoxville. There's an awful lot out there, and again, when you get a game like the one they've got tomorrow, that's a game you need to win. You need to go out and win. Any team that's playing at home on Saturday. If you look around the league over the years, teams generally play their best at home on Saturday, and I would expect Arkansas to play well tomorrow.
I know fans are itching to get back inside of Bud Walton Arena as well. Let's go to Lake Fayetteville, right outside of it, Shady Grove here. JR, you're on the morning rush, man. Go ahead.
Morning, guys. How y'all doing?
JR.
Hey, listen, did you guys watch the women's game last night?
I
did. Catch that?
Yeah, I did. I watched it.
I'd like to bring attention to something that took place in that game. There was a girl on LSU, and ESPN showcased her as maybe a player of the year, but she hammered one of our girls going to the basket and stood over her and mouthed something. She got teed up for it. And what was just jaw-dropping, which, LSU is going to be ranking right up there with Texas A&M in my book, but the crowd just roared with thunderous applause. She raised her hands up, didn't phase her one bit. Her coach went over her, took up for her to the ref, wondering why she got the technical. I don't understand. College athletics is going down the road with all this, all about me. It's all about me. All this, NIL deals, all the stuff that goes on. It's crazy to grow up with coaches like Lou Holtz and Eddie Sutton, and if one of his players would have done something like that, they would have sat on the bench for a while. She stayed in. Like I said, she was taunting the crowd, raising her hands, didn't affect her one bit. The other thing I would like to bring up, is there any repercussions? The SEC office come out and said, we messed up on the call the other night. What happens? I mean, if that's just an admittance of wrongdoing, is there any repercussions? Do they get fined? Do they get suspended from calling the game? What's the action that's taking place during that? Because that game the other night, I mean, I know that's the one they're going to point out and say this is the one we messed up on. But there were, I know you guys talked about it because I hadn't had time to listen to you guys. But over the last part of that game were just some really, really bad calls that were just, no foul or anything like that. So anyway, just thought I'd bring that up.
Thank you, JR. So a couple points on that. You brought up Eddie Sutton, and we appreciate your call this morning, JR. So with that and the Eddie Sutton thing, Joe Klein told a great story on this program, and Chuck, you probably heard this, that the fact that he comes back from the Olympics playing with Michael and a couple other guys, and he's like, I'm a hot shot, I'm this, I'm that, and he's like, all right. Or Coach Sutton's like, all right, that's fine. Charge drill. Klein, get ready. And he had to take like 50 charges in practice or something like that. Couldn't do that.
He said it's 25 from the left side of the lane, 25 from the right side of the lane.
It was a great story from Joe Klein. And then, like, today you mentioned that. I got sent a video of these third-grade AAU kids that were talking trash, doing like all, like,
I saw that.
What you saw that too? And I'm thinking to myself,
kid in the green jersey.
I'm thinking to myself, this is why I didn't even know what a curse word was in third grade. And then we got this going on. It's just a different
they're on the spelling test now.
Yeah, it's different times, man. And I don't know if there's going back.
I'm gonna tell you, as we get older, we all harken back to back in my day, Chuck. It's just I heard my dad say it. I'm sure he heard his dad say it. I'm sure we all. And the older I get, the more I want to say things like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they've been taunting one another for a long time. It's gotten more severe lately. I mean, in our society, and it's not just in sports. I mean, it seems like everybody's goal every day is to own something, own somebody else, own the other side. I think standing over people is just a product of that. It's like I own you. I don't like it. I wish teams wouldn't do it, but I also know that, they're supposed to tee them up, and they did tee them up last night, and there is a penalty for it, theoretically, when you do that, and I don't care for it. Now, let me say this. I watched that game, and I'll talk about something a little bit different in terms of that game last night. I thought it was a great ball game to watch, and I thought Arkansas competed hard. LSU is 18-0 going into that game, ranked number 3 in the country, if I'm not mistaken. The caller mentioned A&M. Shockingly, I think A&M's like 0-7 this year, women's basketball. But I thought Arkansas competed. I thought they played hard. LSU's really good, and they went down there to Baton Rouge and had the lead late. And I thought they played really, really well. I'm not sure the SEC, and I'm an outside observer. I'm by no means an expert on this. I've been told by people that do keep up with women's basketball closely that the SEC is a little bit down this year, that it's not perhaps as strong as it's been in some other years. Doesn't mean like South Carolina is still not head and shoulders above everybody else, but the league may not be quite as strong. I don't know if that's true or not. I've not watched enough to know, frankly, but man, I know Arkansas really competed hard. It was a good game, and if you like basketball, it's a good game to watch.
And if I remember correctly, they got beat pretty good in Bud Walton, so for them to come back and challenge LSU like they did last night in Baton Rouge says something about Mike Neighbors and his team for showing a little resolve.
It's still a loss. I mean, it's still a loss, and I don't want to make it sound like anything else, but they went down there and competed hard. Played well.
I don't remember, and to JR's point last night, I don't remember who told me this, but it's a great point. my generation, the generation behind me, is more interested in being famous than doing something to make you famous.
Well, maybe so. But now, let me say this, guys. If Lou Holtz and Eddie Sutton were coaching today, they'd be doing the very same thing all the other coaches are doing. They'd be doing everything they could with that NIL to bring players in. You think Nick Saban's not spending NIL money? You think these old school guys out? You think Tom Izzo's not spending NIL money in basketball at Michigan State? Of course they are. Yeah. You adapt or die, and that's what they're doing. So times have changed, and we're all products of our time, whether we want to admit it or not. But if Eddie Sutton and Lou Holtz were coaching today, they'd be doing just like everybody else is.
The litmus test on everything a coach does, whether it's hamburger or cheeseburger, whether it's fries or onion rings, is all filtered through what's the recruit going to think. I mean, it just seems like every move, regardless of sport, everything runs through the what's the recruit going to think filter. I mean, just how they handle their business.
It's always been that way.
Yeah,
it's always been that way. We just see it
it's more
now,
public
and it becomes
now.
more pronounced.
It's
There's
more
no
public
doubt.
because of social media.
Well, you're right.
And because of video being everywhere. Every word you say is recorded and kept for all time. So as a head coach, as a public figure like that. So they have to, I guess, be more on guard now than ever before.
Can't disagree with you on that. You want to tee off on this thing now, or you want to wait?
I want to talk about that. I was going to wait till about 7:20 to talk about that replay deal, but
give a quick feedback.
Well, I mean, it's just inexcusable. You miss a rule. I mean, we can all agree or disagree on judgment.
Yeah, we need to be clear on that. This was not they missed the call. They said it wasn't reviewable, and it was.
Well, and I want to, I was going to wait till about 7:20. We can come back to it, but any official, I mean, I work in gyms. These guys work at arenas. Yeah. I mean, I work small college basketball. And most of the games I work, many of them don't even have replay. But particularly if you are the replay official sitting in the command center, Rule 10, Rule 11, all of the replay stuff at the back of the rule book, Rule 11, you should know that in the middle of the night. If Greg Sankey woke you up and said, hey, what's reviewable in the last 2 minutes, which is most everything. But particularly put in a couple of years ago was the arc. And if a player's foot is in or out, on or above, is clearly in the rule. How the replay official, as it was described, tells a veteran referee like Tony Green, hey, that's not reviewable. And then how Tony Green doesn't say, now, wait a minute, let's talk about this. That is reviewable. We are inside the last 2 minutes. There's 43 seconds. I've not been in the replay center. I don't know who sits there. I don't know who's responsible for that. But that's inexcusable because this is not judgment. This is not whether or not you thought the defender slid over on an airborne shooter and it should have been a block instead of a charge. This is a rule that was missed.
Okay, so I think to JR's question, is there a suspension coming for the replay guy? That's what he was asking.
We're always interested in somebody getting fired.
Well, he didn't know. I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that. I would imagine that this is just my guess. Do I know this? No. But I would imagine that replay official is going to see some kind of
dock and pay or something.
Well, probably a missed assignment. I mean, these guys get paid by the game. They're not paid, by the call. They're not paid. They're not on an annual salary. They're paid.
I thought they were paid by the whistle the other night.
Well, maybe. If so, they made a lot of money, but, the teams need to quit fouling, too. But,
you're right. You're right.
That game
I'm just joking.
No, but I would imagine whoever that replay official is probably going to miss an assignment. I don't know if the on-floor officials will or won't, but the things like that we never hear about. If an assignment's pulled, you don't know it. Only the coordinator and that official know it, maybe some people on staff that were going to be in that game.
Let me say this. Anyone that officiates a game that lasts 2 hours and 36 minutes, I think they're all I just thought there's just no way a game should last that long. There's just no way.
Quit fouling.
Well, but Tommy, I mean, why does a replay take as long as it takes?
Well, clearly you had someone in the replay center that wasn't on their A game that night. But
you're
a
right.
lot of times we want to blame the refs on that when you're waiting on the TV people to get the angles back to the DV Sport box or the in-house, because the way this works is DV Sport handles this. Chuck, you sit next to it. You see it firsthand. the in-house angles from the cameras like we see on the video boards and the TV angles are all fed into one system. And sometimes you got to go through and you got to wait on those angles to make the judgment. Or you're waiting on someone back at the replay center who may be looking at a call on another game. I mean, there's just a lot of things going on with the replays.
Well, I got an idea. Let's make the right call. Let's
Absolutely.
make the right call.
Absolutely.
Where we don't have to, like, every time there's a close call, I don't know, what'd you see? Well, I don't know, what'd you see? Well, let's go over here to the replay. I mean, make the call.
Yeah. I will say this about that ARC play, the RA play at the end of the game. There's a lot of feet and a lot of bodies all converging in that one spot. And separating all of that out in real time in the blink of an eye is not as easy as you might think it would be. And I'm telling you, it took some time for when they put that in, even at the level I work, to adjust to that. And get your eyes in the right place and work from the feet up and understand all of that. So that's not an easy play, and that's why in the last 2 minutes they allow that to be reviewed, because it's such a big call. And if that call would have been correctly adjudicated the other night, it probably is the difference in the ball game. And that's why there is such a strong discussion amongst coordinators down to the officials that, hey, you've got to be perfect in the last 4 minutes because there's not enough possessions to overcome a mistake of that nature. And that's exactly what we saw the other night. So for everyone out there that always says, I defend every action they make, I hope you were listening.
Tommy just got in trouble with the NDA he signed to not criticize officials.
Oh, I mean, everyone says I defend them when they're wrong. They were wrong and they missed a rule the other night. And missing a rule, and it happens. But this is a replay rule that is basic. This is not a down in the weeds, find it in the casebook rule. RA plays in the last 2 minutes are reviewable, just like shot clock situations are reviewable. There's an open book. When you get to the last 2 minutes of a game, a coach can then call timeout during live ball. There's a lot of things that trigger in that last 2 minutes.
Well, I think that the reason you're passionate and fiery about this is because it makes officials look bad, even though they weren't necessarily the ones that screwed it up. Per se, not that they should. There's always the back end, the fail safe, and Tony Green as a veteran should have been the fail safe. It's like, no, this is reviewable.
If everybody had the level of accountability they want to put on officials in their job, they wouldn't last a day. And that's the thing. Nobody would want me to come to the bank and hold you as accountable as you want to hold referees, or yell and scream at you at every move of your pen at work or your keyboard at work.
Yeah, but that comes with the territory.
But
nobody makes you do that.
Nope.
Nobody makes you do that.
How much are they making, though? Aren't they making?
Well, SEC Power 5 officials make between $3,500 and $4,000 a game.
And
there is no reason you should not. Now they have to pay all their expenses out of that. That's not like they're just putting $4,000 in their pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got to fly somewhere. They got to stay in a hotel. They got to rent a car. I mean, it's not all. That's not net.
But
it's a good chunk of change.
You got to be there for, I'm guessing, hour or two before the game.
2 hours.
So, I mean, how many per hour? How much are they making per hour? Like $500 an hour.
Well, this is not just about how. I mean, this is not just about how much time they spend at the arena.
There's a lot more that goes into it.
I mean, you've put in your time by the time you get to the arena. The one thing that I will say about SEC officials, and I'm not the first one to say this, we know too many of their names. I think a lot of these guys believe they are part of the show, and I see that a lot. And they are part of the game, but they're not part of the show.
Yep. Joey Crawford is a former, and then Teddy? Why am I Teddy
Valentine?
The fact that, listen,
but those are two of the greatest to ever do it at their level.
But they're demonstrative. They're over the top. They, as Chuck said, try to make it about them. They've got a call, and they want to make sure that all eyes are on them when they do the different whatever things.
But you know why we know those guys? Because they were so good, they always worked the biggest games.
Nobody's knocking their ability.
Right.
No one's knocking their ability. I think sometimes, and I'm going to speak generally here, I think officials, because they're human beings and because they're testosterone-driven guys, I think their egos get a little too big out there sometimes.
Well, I
see that a lot.
I'm going to make one last point about the other night. Maybe we can come back to this. If you go back and you watch that, only 2 of the 3 officials were involved in that replay. Chuck, I don't know if you remember this, but Owen Short was not involved in that replay. And I believe, and I hadn't talked to Owen, but I believe if he would have been involved in that decision on the RA, maybe the brakes would have got pumped a little bit. That to me should not have
Tony
happened.
Green's a Hall of Fame ref.
He's worked like 5 Final Fours.
Yeah,
something
he's
like that.
a Hall of Fame
2 or 3
ref.
national championship games.
It was just a total breakdown.
Absolutely.
Now look, I'm not one of those people who feels like you just ought to lament this stuff for days, because you got to turn the page and move on. And the caller originally said what happens, and Tommy, you know better than anyone, but there's going to be some punishment that we won't find out about, and it'll have to do with assignments and ultimately how much money you put in your pocket.
Maybe they don't work the conference tournament a game or two. But when you start losing a game or two at $4,000 a game, that would get my attention. I mean,
Well, too many of these guys, and Tommy, you know better than I do, and I may be wrong, but my impression is a lot of these guys are more worried about how they're being graded than whether or not they're actually doing what's within the best interest of that game they're officiating. I can be wrong about that, but that's just my impression.
Well, I mean, the job is to call the game by the rule book. I mean, that's the national standard they've tried to implement to standardize officiating coast to coast.
Well,
and the rule book's what you come back to. And too many of us don't like, that wasn't – we think that was a block or a charge. And we think – the problem is us as fans and observers, most of us don't know the insides of the rule book. These guys are supposed to know the rule book in and out, and I believe they do. There was just a breakdown the other night that should not have happened.
Well, now let me ask you this. If perhaps when they go through all this stuff, I would like them to make some kind of public announcement a la the NBA.
Right.
I'm still kind of at a loss to how all this idea that's not reviewable was allowed to pass.
Yeah.
Surely there's somebody in one of those two huddles that knew that. I would be interested to know exactly what the verbal explanation on the floor was as opposed to what the explanation was in that release.
Let me tell you, if I was Sam Pittman or Eric Musselman or any other coach, I would have someone on my staff with an officiating background that knew the current rule book that kept up. Because if you had a guy behind the bench the other night that said they could get word to coach quickly about that, that's where you can pump the brakes yourself and then, wait a minute, we're inside the last 2 minutes. That's a restricted area play. That is reviewable. And you could demand an explanation, and maybe you could fix that. That's where the value of that would be so important to a staff. Can't disagree with that.
All right, we got a lot more to talk about in hour number 2 of the Morning Rush. Want to get Chuck's reaction to the Dan Enos hire. That was officially announced yesterday, and I know a lot of people have opinions about that. We're going to get into the matchups this weekend in the National Football League. Dallas Cowboys and San Francisco 49ers is your primetime matchup on Sunday night. It's also a Friday, so we're going to get into our Fenceman Friday picks as well. All that's coming up. Again, hour number 2 of the Morning Rush on a Fast Break Friday is next.
For more than 4 decades, Burton Pools and Spas has been your source for backyard fun. In that time, Burton's has built over 12,000 pools and installed more than 8,000 hot tubs. That makes the Burton family more than 20,000 members strong. See your options, our story, and customer reviews at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas. We do more than build pools and install hot tubs. At Burton's, we build long-term relationships. Burton Pools and Spas. Springdale and Fort Smith, your source for backyard fun.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment, sales, parts, and service. From high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders, and mini excavators. WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors and see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need to upgrade your construction equipment fleet? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website, WTEquip.com.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to ashley.air.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's ashley.air.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics. Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Lesson 86. This is how you say, gee willikers, it's a hot one. Let's cool down with some Bud Lights. That's it for today. Bud Light, crisp.
Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Peace of mind in buying a quality and well-maintained vehicle is top priority at Carco Auto Sales. Carco Auto Sales has been serving the River Valley and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years and offers a variety of late model, low-mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard today or give them a call at 783-1722. You can check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales. When you're ready.
Frankrow Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frankrow Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frankrow Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
Have a loan with a variable to balloon rate? That might be a problem if it's due to reprice soon. Let Farm Credit fix your problem with a long-term fixed interest rate loan. Farm Credit's terms are the longest in the ag industry, ensuring you'll have peace of mind for years to come. At Farm Credit, you have nothing to lose. When rates begin to drop, you can easily readjust your rate again with no refinancing application, no new appraisals, no new title work. We make it simple. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Equal housing lender.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we should see an ample amount of sunshine or high temperatures in the upper 40s to low 50s. Clear skies tonight and overnight low in the upper 20s. Saturday, partly to mostly cloudy, slight chance of rain, upper 40s. And then it looks like we'll see cloudy skies and low 40s Sunday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Brewer to Jones for the slam. How about Matt Jones? Did he sky?
Weekdays from 11 to 2.
You're listening to The Morning Rush, live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
This hour of The Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
Hey, Grandpa.
Yo.
That's you.
Yeah,
Is this normal down here?
What?
That when it's real windy, it doesn't get quite as windy down here?
Yeah, this blocks it.
Yeah. Is that what usually happens?
Yeah. Normally, unless it's like serious wind.
Yeah.
It normally doesn't affect the ball too much. Juicy throw. Juicy.
Jay Will, I saw you kind of meandering over here, man. What do you do? What do you want over here?
He wants to be a QB.
He does? He throws the ball pretty good, you know, for a third grade, like if you're a third grader or so.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
You heard Dan Enos and Brandon Allen back in 2015 when they were mic'd up in practice. Enos having some fun with his former quarterback, a couple other guys on offense, and the juicy term that Clay brought up yesterday was mentioned during that little soundbite. I want to talk about Dan Enos coming back to Fayetteville, coming back to be the offensive coordinator at Arkansas, coming up in hour number 2 of Fast Break Friday.
Brought to you by QC Kinetics. If you got joint pain and you've already started the year off without getting a good night's sleep, you can't go fishing, the golf trip you're putting off, all these favorite things you like to do when you're away from work because your joints hurt, whether it's your back, your shoulder, your knees, whatever it is, keeping you from living life to the fullest. QC Kinetics can help repair and restore damaged tissue by using the healing agents, the healing powers from your own body. No surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. So if you're in excruciating pain anywhere, or your arthritis has become more than you want to deal with any longer, call QC Kinetics and see if their life-changing all-natural treatments can get you back to living your best life. That's QC Kinetics. Make 23 the year you say goodbye to joint pain. 479-999-1234. That's 999-1234 for QC Kinetics.
Chuck, Coach Pittman said they're getting the band back together. These guys coached together at 2015, and looks like the band's coming for a little reunion tour in Fayetteville.
Yeah, the thing that and I said this yesterday afternoon on Ruskin and Zach. To me, the best thing about this is there was a plan in place. I mean, there was no hesitation. He knew exactly what he was going to do. That's a man in charge of his program. There wasn't any hesitation. He knew he wanted to hire Dan Enos if Kendall Briles left, and that's what he did. Within 24 hours, he's he's in Little Rock. So, he's out on the recruiting trail, and that's kind of how it works. But, Dan Enos, I can tell you among football people that work, coaches, people that work within the industry, man, his acumen has always been highly respected. Saban hired him as his associate head coach. Now, he was there 1 year, and it sounded like he was anxious to get out of there. I don't know. But, he is a very respected football mind, and his offenses are very multiple. At Maryland, they had talked about getting the band back together. I mean, it was like, a bunch of Alabama guys up there, a bunch of guys who'd coached for Saban. Loxley's the head coach, and, he had Tua's younger brother up there. And they were at least a lot better than they'd been before, I'll put it that way. So he's highly respected, and he'll do a great job.
You mentioned him being in Little Rock. Walker White is an upcoming player that a lot of not only SEC schools are interested, but others. Top 100 kid, 8th best dual threat quarterback in the country, number 1 player at Arkansas. I was like, why is Little Rock Christian? Why is Danny at Little Rock Christian? I was like, because Walker's down there.
Well, even the day before when all of this was going down with Kendall Briles and the TCU rumors were picking up steam on social media, and it became clear after the fact that, there was going to be a change. You look on Twitter, where was Coach Pittman? He was in Oklahoma recruiting because there was a Beggs Oklahoma high school, or what their high school over there put a tweet out thanking Coach Pittman for being by today. So this is where we talk about the coach has or the AD has or whoever has a short list in their top drawer. We talk about that theoretical, mythical list. This is where he already had this worked out. My gut tells me that when the flirtations with Mississippi State were happening 10 days ago or 2 weeks, whatever it's been, This was a conversation that got rekindled this week, no pun intended, but got brought back up following Briles' decision to leave.
Well, you've got to be decisive in situations like this, and you've got to be able to change the narrative. I'm happy Kendall Briles had a lot of people come after him. I mean, that's what you want in your career. You want to get to a point where, everybody wants you. And, you've got to give him credit for that. But I also think there comes a point from Sam Pittman's perspective when does all this talk become counterproductive? Yeah. When does it become counterproductive for me? When does it become counterproductive for our program? And I think that, it was probably time for him to accept one of these job offers. Number one, from our perspective, from an Arkansas perspective, because, you've got to look like you're in charge of your program. And from Kendall Briles' perspective, you turn down enough offers, after a while they stop offering. So, I think it was time. Yeah. And Sam Pittman knew exactly where he wanted to go, and he's gotten a good one.
And it's the usual fan reaction that, hey, we're better off, we're not going to miss anybody. Kendall Briles, and all the negative stuff starts coming from a fan perspective. But let me tell you, replacing Kendall Briles, while I think Dan Enos is going to do a great job, you had a really good coordinator here that got you to a number 15 offense, and I thought did a great job, Chuck, in his time of really setting that offense up around KJ and his strengths and what they could and couldn't do. This offense had some deficiencies, and I thought he did a good job of masking a lot of problems with his play calling and the way he orchestrated things.
Kendall Briles is a good coach, and he'll do a good job at TCU. And Dan Enos is a good coach, and he'll do a good job here. I don't mean to suggest for 1 second that I think that, being a coordinator is not a really, really important job, but it's still the head coach's football team. Period, end of story. And, coordinators come and go. Head coaches come and go. But, my point is that sometimes, you can change coordinators and still be really good. You can change coordinators and still keep your basic philosophy. This is still the head coach's team, and I like the way this was handled.
I think people have questions, not of the relationship with KJ and Coach Pittman, but he seemed to have a good one with Briles, how quickly those two, now Enos and KJ, can get acclimated, because
they'll be fine.
We're in a world, guys, where players come and go, coaches come and go.
They'll be fine.
Change is just, you expect it. It's when there's no change that it's weird, right? Because now with the portal, you've just got to come and accept a world that, hey, who's here today may not be here tomorrow. That's just the way it is.
I can't imagine any quarterback who, and they're all the good ones, all have advisors, all over them. I can't imagine any great quarterback comes into a school believing that, all these guys that I'm working with my first year are going to be here on my last day. Yeah. I mean, that's naive.
It's foolish.
Yeah, can't do that anymore. Well, go ahead.
But it's just because of it. Because of the way it's set up, it's just constant change. It's when there's no change that it's weird. All right, 11 o'clock tomorrow, Arkansas and Ole Miss. A lot of you may have plans. Your kids got games. I know my schedule revolves around kid activities anymore. If you're going to miss the game, you got to have a great DVR in order to be able to go back and catch it up. You can listen here on the radio. World of Wireless has a great setup right now with Dish with a 3-year price guarantee. Seemingly everything is going up. Inflation's through the roof. Well, when someone's going to offer you no price changes, a price lock for 3 years, you got to jump on it. Dish has plans starting at $80 a month, $79.99, 3-year price guarantee, and this weekend, free upgrades on voice-activated remotes, free installation, free movie channels, and more. Call 877-305-DISH. Lock in your price for 3 years with World of Wireless.
All right, we're going to get back into our Morning Rush Daily question coming up. Also want to touch on these NFL games this weekend. Dallas Cowboys are your Sunday night primetime matchup, but some other good ones on Saturday and Sunday as well that we want to touch on. In addition to that, I want to come back to the basketball team back inside of Bud Walton Arena tomorrow at 11 o'clock. A little weird that it's this early. First, I think, 11 o'clock game of the season, but that's where they'll be. All that's coming up on the Morning Rush.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush, presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment, sales, parts, and service. For high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders, and mini excavators. WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors and see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need to upgrade your construction equipment fleet? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website, WTEquip.com.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to ashley.air.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's ashley.air.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey & Hull have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit kevinhickeylaw.com or give them a call today to schedule your consultation. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Happy New Year, everyone. Hi, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, the home of inflation elimination. That's right, we've had enough. Thanks to our live market value pricing, our prices are dropping and our customers are saving now. And you can too on a great selection of Rath road-ready vehicles, the best used cars you can buy. Plus, our non-commissioned solution specialists are there for you. Let them worry about making all the numbers work. It's what they're paid to do. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. For even more savings and protection, ask about our new Meineke Miles service contracts and prepaid maintenance products. They'll help you keep your car in tip-top shape while saving you money. So if you're like us and you want 23 to be the best year ever and you're ready for some inflation elimination, start today by driving better in a nicer, newer car from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
Do you remember the joy you felt as a kid about pizza night? Remember how good it smelled? You could taste it even before you opened the box. And then that first bite. It was so good. Be the supper time savior. Order Jim's Razorback Pizza now. 434-3456. The best pizza in Fort Smith, or it's free.
Jim's Razorback Pizza. At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
All right, so Dan Enos officially announced as the offensive coordinator for the Arkansas football team yesterday. Guys, in y'all's opinion, what is the biggest attribute he's going to bring back to this program and to KJ Jefferson and Sam Pittman?
Here's what I hope he does. What I hope he does is takes KJ's passing ability to the next level. We've seen him do that with other quarterbacks. And Jalen Hurts, he made him a better pocket passer. I think being a mechanic of the quarterback position might be the #1 thing you notice most. I mean, I think Kendall's done a great job with KJ, but I think there's got to be a next level, Chuck, in the way he efficiently passes the football. I think Dan Enos could elevate his passing game, which will make everything in that offense better.
Well, I hope so. I mean, hope he's able to do that. KJ's going to have a lot to do with that.
Sure.
I don't know that, one guy comes in and, suddenly makes a guy great in every area, but they'll have a good working relationship. And, what the most important thing he brings is, I think a lot of it with KJ and all quarterbacks at that age is reading and, your reads and understanding of offense, and Dan Enos is very good at that. Kendall Briles is very good at that. So I think they'll have a good working relationship.
Yeah.
I don't, Dan Enos is a good coach. It's not the first time he's gone in with a new quarterback, and I'm sure he will and has and will continue to study everything that, every move KJ makes. And so he'll have ideas just like any new coach would have.
I think the intangible he brings to the table, Ty, is a level of comfort with the head coach. Clearly, this was who Sam Pittman wanted. I think there is a comfort level in just putting him in that job, and you don't feel like you got to look over his shoulder or supervise or be involved as the head coach. I would imagine there is hey, I've got a pro in this spot. I can let him do his job. That might be the intangible he brings because of his experience that gets overlooked.
Now, I think Austin and Brandon would be apt to call JJ. Now, Brandon's in the midst of preparing for a playoff game this weekend, so you might have to wait a little bit till the Mingles lose. But talking to KJ about some of the things that Coach Enos is going to do. And in addition to that, you got also Jalen Hurts, Talia, and Tua Tagovailoa. Now, it might be a little harder to get a hold of those guys, but if I was KJ Jefferson, I would be trying to reach out to them as well. Talia just played in her Dan last year, and then you look at Tua and Jalen in Alabama. I would be reaching out to those guys if you can get a hold of them
maybe
at some point.
Maybe. I mean, KJ's his own man. He's going to do his thing, and but I hear what you're saying. I mean, you can kind of figure out, get a scouting report on your coach, but KJ's going to do his thing.
All those guys are better, though, than KJ. Why not learn from someone? That's like you not reaching out to a better GM or me not reaching out to the millions of other radio hosts that are better than me out there. It's always – you're never in any point in life where you can't learn something. And for those guys, especially the success they've had early on in their NFL careers, there's no sense of not at least trying to contact them based on the fact that they played under Enos.
Maybe so. I mean, I hear what you're saying. There's some merit to what you're saying. I don't know that even KJ could just get Jalen Hurts on the phone, though.
Might be a little more difficult after this run that they've had with the Eagles this year.
All right, that's your Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Baxter Health. Compassionate care beyond measure.
You want to tee off on the SEC office now? Have you saved your energy?
Oh, we can go back to that. We talked about it a little while ago, but I think there's meat on that bone. So
the floor's yours.
Well, I mean, it's your job. You set the thing up.
I did. Go ahead. The SEC put out that.
The audience doesn't know what you're talking about.
Okay,
Set it up.
I'm setting you up.
God almighty.
You came in this morning. I haven't seen this passion in years about how frustrated and angry you were about them screwing this up.
All right.
Well, the moment passed.
Yeah.
I mean, we had the segment.
Yeah.
And it was good.
So yesterday, for those that may not know, the SEC. I mean, you assume everyone's on Twitter and knows this stuff, Kai. Don't throw your papers in the air.
I let you have this. Just go. I'm setting you up to talk about it. Figure you just take it and run.
All right.
You usually do.
We'll have a hosting lesson after the show. All right. The SEC office comes out yesterday, and they say that the call with 43 seconds to go in the ball game, where Devo Davis goes in, he's called for a player control, but it was reviewed because the Missouri defender's feet were on the restricted area line, was mishandled. And we talked about this yesterday. That was not the rule. And I kept thinking, the thought didn't cross my mind that they messed the rule up. I thought they must have had some angle that we weren't presented on TV that showed different, because there's no way, based on what we saw on TV, that player's feet are not on or above the restricted area line. Well, they come out yesterday, and somehow in the replay center, they told the on-court officials through the headphones that that's not a reviewable play, which is totally incorrect by rule. Any official that's worked any NCAA basketball and has studied the replay rule, which instant replay has its own rule in the rule book. We got a rule book sitting over here I've left in the studio. Inside the last 2 minutes, not for the first 38 minutes of the game, but once we get to the final 2 minutes, that is a play that is so, and the reason it's in that book is because, as we saw night before last, it is a large deciding factor in the outcome in the last 2 minutes of a game if that play is incorrectly officiated. And what we saw the other night was it was incorrectly called on the floor, replays there to fix it, and somehow the replay official back in the command center told a veteran official and Tony Green, hey, that's not reviewable. That is 1,000% incorrect. And I still, it blows me away that could even happen. That the replay officials, whose job is to know inside and out the replay rule, there had to be a level of confusion or misunderstanding, looking at not understanding the time in the game. But then how the veteran official and Tony Green would say, now, wait a minute, we're inside the last 2 minutes. This is a restricted area play. How does this is reviewable? Let's talk about this a second and get everybody on the same page here. Somehow you come away with the wrong decision. Devo wouldn't have fouled out. He'd have went to the free throw line. Perhaps it changes the outcome of the game.
They just messed it up all the way around.
They did.
Ty, what you don't know is that rule book over there you're going to have to memorize, and that's going to become part of your job requirement from this point forward.
How thick is it?
You got to memorize that book.
I do want to. I had a New Year's resolution. Oh, that's small.
Well, this is just the rule book. There's a case book over there and a mechanics manual as well. I just
got to read them all. Ty.
This is my
you
last.
Got to read them all.
This is the 2021. This is a year old. I brought my old ones in here, but there are a few changes. But yeah,
is there Spark Notes? I was
Rule
a big
11.
Sparks note guy.
Rule 11. No, you got to know them all.
Okay.
Rule 11 is instant replay, and that's where the breakdown came. Because here's what happened, and it's not that many pages when you look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 pages in Rule 11. Inside the last 2 minutes, things like restricted area, shot clock on made or missed shot inside the last 2 minutes. Coaches can call time. There's a lot of things that get triggered in the last 2 minutes that become available to replay. And Chuck loves it when they go to replay and take their time, especially. But inside the last 2 minutes is where there is a lot more flexibility in the rules and allowance by rule, I should say, to look at plays like we saw the other night. So that's what is frustrating, is this was not a judgment call that, hey, I think that was a block and you think it's a charge and they called this and I don't like that. And this is not a judgment situation, Chuck. This is a rule. And that's the frustrating thing.
Well, one of the frustrating things, too, is I don't know how many people in the arena on press row, I say press row, the row there where all the broadcasters and such are, the bench areas, I don't know that they knew the explanation. I didn't know it. I didn't watch the television broadcast. Did they say anything on TV about not a reviewable call?
I don't.
But no,
I don't recall. I don't
not.
recall hearing
just
anybody
said they were
say about
staying
that.
with the call, best I remember. Now, let me ask you this: if one of the officials had come over and said, "Hey, that RA play is not reviewable by rule," would you have said, "Now, wait a minute, we're inside the last 2 minutes"?
No,
and that's
no.
But the people paid to know that failed.
So, is it is it bad in taste to just have the rule book over there or have it in the SEC
Would you know
office?
where to go?
Well, you want to
find
get teed up? Yeah. Start showing that rule book to them out there on the floor. We'll see if you get teed up or not.
Here's what I said this when we were talking about this last hour. If I'm in Eric Musselman or Sam Pittman's shoes, I've got someone on my staff that does know those things, and it's their job to voice that to me as the head coach in that moment. But I think there's real value in a coach, and some football coaches have placed somebody in the booth at times that has headset access to help them figure out when to challenge and when not to challenge. I think there's real value at any level, high school, college, pro, wherever. Coaches should have somebody on that staff that knows situations and knows rules, maybe even has an officiating background. I think would bring real value. Because, I don't know what you'd pay someone or add that to someone's duties, but the other night it may have made the difference in the ball game if Eric Musselman would have had someone that knew that information.
But, Tommy, you know that on a basketball floor, the idea that it's quiet and everybody hears what everybody says and everyone gets the same explanation and the guy at the end of the bench knows as much as the guy, down there at the other end, it's not that way on the basketball floor. I hear what you're saying. But I think it would probably end up being something that you did after the fact. In real time, as noisy as it is down there with all the things that are going on, I hear what you're saying. Theoretically, I think, you might be onto something there. But it's awfully hard to have all that stuff communicated in real time on a basketball floor.
My God, they got 47 people sitting on the bench.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I hear, but Tommy, again, you're operating under the assumption that everybody on the bench has the same access to the information that the head coach does. They do not.
Some of this, though, if you pay attention, and again, you know what's going on in the game. It was clear what they were doing the other night. They were reviewing a restricted area play.
There's no doubt about that, but how many of us knew until the next day that what they actually based their decision on was whether or not it was a reviewable play? If it's not a reviewable play, what'd they spend all their time over there for?
Yeah.
I think they were also going back to look at a play on a previous trip, too, or that's the way TV led you to believe.
Yeah,
I have no problem with them spending as much time as they need in the last 2 minutes to get a critical call right. I just think there are some times during the game they go to it when it disrupts the flow of the game. It's too much emphasis is put on being right, being 100% right.
But
Tommy,
in the last 4 minutes, you have to be.
At the 18-minute mark, that's not the most important thing.
Agreed. But
inside
at the
2 minutes,
mark.
But I don't disagree with that. That's why I said inside 2 minutes, take as long as as you need.
I'd say
but
4.
Let's not compound all this replay stuff by spending 4 minutes looking at a call at the 18-minute mark.
I agree with you. And I'm going to tell you, that's what's instructed of the officials. You get more grace and more time as the game's in the balance at the end. I would say the last 4 minutes, Chuck, not the last 2. But inside that last media timeout, there's not enough possessions to overcome a mistake like this. 43 seconds to go. You have a call. There's not enough possessions for Arkansas to overcome that.
I'm not disagreeing with that. Now, I think one of the things that needs to be changed, the lead official, when they finally make a call on replay, he acts like he's carrying a top-secret box, like he's the most important man in America. And only an entitled few are entitled to know what he knows. That's why I say when I watch this, I see egos take over. I see egos of officials who've ref the Final Four who feel like they are at that moment the most important man in the building. And I do believe that a lack of communication has a lot to do with some of the problems that go on at the end. Are you telling me that Tony Green and the replay guy in Birmingham are the only people who should be discussing this? Of course not. And the other people are just not privy to that information. And I'm so sick of watching lead officials at the end of a replay session acting like they're carrying a top-secret box. I mean, come on, guys.
Well, generally, one of the other officials will go communicate with the TV crew. I would like to see moving closer to what the NBA does, and there's some kind of public address, microphones.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it had been, if the information had been disseminated the other night that, hey, we can't look at this play because it's not reviewable, I would like to think that someone would have raised their hand and said, no, wait a minute.
That's my point.
Yeah. But I'm like, I mean, you were on the press row. You know what was communicated at the press table and what's not. And from the TV standpoint, it was never said that I remember hearing.
Neil didn't say it. You're
that,
right.
Hey, that play wasn't reviewed. I just assumed. I always assume they get the rule right and that they had some angle or they didn't feel that the angles we were showing was conclusive on the heel being on or above the restricted area line. Because every angle we saw at home, Chuck, and I don't know how much replay you have there doing the game.
None.
It looked obvious. Would you say it looked obvious his heel was on or above based on the angles presented?
The point is that during that entire delay, we all assumed that they were trying to determine where the foot was. That's what we assumed. And I'll go back to what I said a minute ago. If it's not reviewable, why'd you spend 5 minutes over there? What were you looking at? What were you trying to determine? If it's not reviewable, I mean, we watch football games all the time. I mean, first thing they say, not reviewable. We're not even going to look at it.
My frustration is you go back to a replay center with someone who should know the replay rule better than – I mean, the on-court officials know it too, but that's the frustrating part. How does a veteran official and the replay center – maybe you say, well, that's the replay guy. I just assume – that's the part that just doesn't set well with me. The replay officials should know there's 43 seconds in the game. We're inside the last 2 minutes. Bells go off that, hey, we communicate as crews in the small college games I work. Hey, inside the last 2 minutes, remember we can do this, this, and this. That's a common routine communication. There was some kind of breakdown the other night in that.
SEC, Greg Sankey gave that replay official a raise because he screwed over Arkansas.
And you know that how.
You can't tell me otherwise. So I'll how do you say FOIA? Because the SEC, of course, is a private institution, and I don't have a way to do that.
That's not even right either.
Let's talk to David in South Arkansas. There's about 3 things that are wrong there. David, go ahead, man.
Good morning, gentlemen. Excellent discussion. Really enjoying it. Just 2 quick questions, and then I'll get off. Can an official on the floor run over to another official and say, hey, no, that was blocking, not charging? Who can override who? And also, what about professional full-time officials? Would that come into play in any way? Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, David.
So when you're going to see that change is when the restricted area is involved, and generally the lead official, the one on the baseline, will make that block charge play on plays in the paint. The only time you're going to see it on the floor changed is when one of the outside officials, and generally it's the center official, comes over and says, feet were on the line or not on the line, and they change the call one way or the other. That's the only time. As far as full-time, not all, but a lot of these guys, this is all they do. They particularly from October till March, refereeing is all they do. Some have insurance agencies and private businesses, and one official they got in the crosshairs a few years ago with a Kentucky fan base. He had a home improvement signing business. I mean, these guys generally have other jobs or own companies, but a lot of them, in this time of the year, they have that flexibility because they own their companies, run their companies. They're traveling 3 or 4 days a week usually.
Yeah, I think Matt Jones got sued for that. Not our Matt Jones, the Kentucky Sports Radio DB Matt Jones.
So, good questions, David.
Yeah. We're going to talk some Dan Enos coming up because I know we've got some calls and text on that.
Hey, let's talk about health for just a moment. Maybe watching that game, made you question your health on Tuesday or Wednesday night. If you live in North Central Arkansas, here's the fortunate part: you don't have to leave home to have great health care. Baxter Regional Medical Center is now Baxter Health, and this is a magnet-recognized facility. This is the best thing about it, is you've got an opportunity to have the best medical care right in your own backyard, regardless of your age, regardless of your condition. And I'll tell you what else they do, and this is really important now. You've got clinics, you've got family clinics, you've got physical therapy clinics, and you've got them in 11 counties in Arkansas and Missouri. So they really are right in your own backyard. Baxter Health believes compassionate care beyond measure is their mission. They feel like, when you are in their facility, it should feel like home because that's what's going to help you heal. And that's their objective at Baxter Health. Now, you can log on to baxterhealth.org for more information. Baxter Health, compassionate care beyond measure.
Ryan is in Hot Springs this morning. Ryan, you've got some thoughts on Dan Enos' hiring again.
Hey guys, good morning. Also, too, after I get done with my Dan Enos comments, I wanted to talk to Tommy too about a comment he made about the reffing and stuff. The first time he was talking about it, but anyway, I want to say this. I'm excited about Dan. One of them, and it's crazy that one of our most exciting games was a loss, the 2015 Mississippi State game. That's a game that has always stuck with me. I mean, the passing that we saw in that game was absolutely incredible. I mean, and who's going to forget 4th and 25? But I just thinking about those hearing that he was going to be our OC kind of brought back those memories. I'm pretty excited about it. Honestly, if we was going to bring back one old OC, he'd probably be the one I'd want to bring back. But I'm pretty excited. I do agree with y'all. I think he's going to help KJ. I don't know about tremendously, but I do think he can for sure help polish some things up. Tommy, you said the last segment or the last hour, whenever you was talking about the refereeing, sometimes we get on you about it. Well, part of that, though, is sometimes we understand that you're correct, but at the same time, like, we just want to be mad for a little while. Yeah. I'll give you an example. In 2020, whenever Monday morning after the Auburn game, we're still. I mean, it's Monday morning. It sucks. It's Monday morning, and then we're also still getting over the Auburn loss, and you're steadily defending the refs, and you were correct to do so, and they and you did enlighten us, and I do want to give you credit for that. You are very good for helping us understand the way things work, and I want you to know I do appreciate that too. Like that really does help a lot.
Well,
but sometimes, man, we just need to be mad a little while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Stop using logic and truth, Tommy.
Truth. Okay. Well, I mean, I just want people to know what. And thanks, Ryan, for the call. I don't. Everybody says you defend this. I'm being critical here
for 2 straight hours.
Because you're not going to believe anything I say otherwise. I mean, I'm just trying to tell you what the truth is from my chair.
I remember how angry I was. That's the angriest I've ever been on a show following that Auburn lost.
Well, and that was just a mistake. I mean, here's the problem I've got. Fans come from the perspective this was done on purpose. If it's done on purpose, then it's not a mistake.
Yeah.
And there are mistakes. Mm-hmm. There are going to be things that are wrong. They made a mistake the other night. I don't believe for 1 second this was done intentionally. And that's where I get, you lose credibility with me when you think it was done on purpose. Nothing that happened the other night involving this was done on purpose.
Ryan just brought up that Mississippi State game, just like Brett made that mistake for letting Cole Hedlund kick a field goal when BA could not be stopped. Had 7 touchdowns. Yeah. Tick for tack with Dak Prescott that night. And they decided instead to settle for a field goal, which got blocked.
All right, we got our Fenceman Friday picks coming up. Want to tell you about our friends at Gaston's White River Resort for just a moment. Gaston's is the place I love to go. In fact, I got a trip planned in February because winter fishing at Gaston's is awesome. The big browns, the trophy rainbows, all of those coming off the spawn. February's when everything up around State Park and above that area open up to everyone again. It's going to be a great time to fish. If you have not planned a trip between now and the end of February, don't miss out. Winter rates get you 40% off when you stay 2 or more nights. Book you a guided fishing trip with one of their experts. I fished with Sean White up there the other day. It was a cold day, and we still caught several big browns. It was a great day on the river. They got great guides, awesome boats. You're going to love the experience of a fishing trip at Gaston's. 870-431-5202. Gaston's, a first-class time every time.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush, presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
One call cleans it all.
Dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit PatriotTransport.com to apply. That's PatriotTransport.com.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Oh, yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas Razorbacks in our championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
Arkansas basketball back in action 11 a.m. tomorrow inside of Bud Walton Arena. We'll have pregame coverage beginning at 10 with the Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast, followed by Chuck and Z on pregame. And then me and Christian will have the postgame as I'll be live at Randall Ford. Ricky Council has been named to the Oscar Robertson Trophy watch list from the USBWA. Guys, if any player, Ricky was not the guy that I thought would have been on this list. I thought it would have been Anthony Black or Nick Smith Jr., but looks like Ricky's found himself on this list mid-season.
Scoring, I'm sure, has a lot to do with that. And, he's been a guy that's put a lot of points on the board during the course of the year. I was just thinking about how good a player Oscar Robertson was. I know you're too young to remember, Ty, but, man, he could play.
The Big O, man. Him and Kareem won that championship back in 70. He played at Cincinnati. He had some great battles with Jerry West when they went back at it. Didn't watch it live, but I at least watched the replay and games of that.
Was he Kareem then?
Play.
Or was he
He
Alcindor
was
then?
He was Lou Alcindor in 1970, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember what year, but obviously
I could be wrong though. It was right about that time. I remember I was a little kid and I'd read the sports page every day, and all of a sudden there's this name that I couldn't pronounce at the time, and who is that guy?
Yeah.
I mean, he's scoring like 30 a night. Who is that guy? I think I was like 6 or 7 years old, and finally realized that Lou Alcindor was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I read this book, this college basketball NBA book one time, and apparently just the back and forth, like it wasn't Magic Bird, but that Oscar Robertson and Jerry West rivalry was awesome. So last thing here, Dan Enos officially announced yesterday as the offensive coordinator at Arkansas. Sam Pittman's put some stuff out. Press release out as well, and we'll talk more about that in the 8 o'clock hour. That's going to do it for your Hog Update. It's brought to you by Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
All right, it's time for one of our favorite segments of the week, and I regretfully inform you that Tommy is still in the lead with 44 points.
Cream rising to the top.
I guess, whatever you want to call it.
I had to bring in bigger boots today, obviously.
Did you?
I'm telling you.
You're still taller than him. You're still
What are
taller.
our games? We got good games this week, Ty?
We do, man. We got NFL playoffs this weekend as we get into our Fenceman Friday picks.
Fenceman Friday Picks. Call the Fenceman for all kinds of fences, controlled access, and custom iron projects. 479-782-3936. The Fenceman. We ain't afraid of no work.
All right, let's start with an NFC East battle between the New York Football Giants heading to Philadelphia to take on Jalen Hurts, an injured Jalen Hurts, I might add, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Tommy, you're up. First pick. Philly is a 7.5-point favorite at home in Birdtown. They gonna get it done? Game's
Giants
tomorrow
played
night.
well. 7.5, right?
7.5 on the Bet Saracen app.
Give me the Giants.
What about you, Chuck?
I am going with the New York Football Giants, not only on the spread, but on the money line, too.
Strong.
Big. Little Daniel Jones
Do I get
upset.
bonus points?
I'll give you a bonus point,
All
Chuck.
right.
If they
wait
get
a
the
minute.
money.
Now we're talking.
Who's in the back of the pack? Where are we point wise?
That would be Chuck.
I'm playing catch up,
so
man.
He needs to. So who's running two? Are you second? I guess.
I'm second. Yeah.
You're the first loser, I guess.
Yeah,
huh?
first loser. Used to that.
A distant second.
All right, I'm going to go for a point and take an Eagles.
Okay. I told Clay yesterday that I was thinking Giants, but Eagles defense has been a wagon this year, so I'm going to take the Eagles in this one. I think that Daniel Jones is going to have a good game, but I think they make some plays down the stretch. All right, the other game tomorrow, the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Kansas City Chiefs. Tommy, the Kansas City Chiefs are 9-point favorites. This game's 3:30 on NBC. Trevor Lawrence, Patrick Mahomes.
What'd you say the line was?
Chiefs are 9-point favorites on the Bet Saracen app.
Give me Kansas City.
Need the Mitch Holthus impression. Chuck, what about you, man? You going
Jacksonville?
All right.
Yeah.
Chiefs all the way.
Chiefs.
Yeah, got to be.
I'll leave. No, I'll get with Chuck on this.
No
I was thinking
guts.
about leaving about him
No
on
guts.
the island. What is that? That doesn't have anything about guts. The Chiefs are the favorite of this one, guys. That doesn't have anything to do with guts. All right, next game: Cincinnati against Buffalo. This is the best game of the weekend. Allen Burrow. Buffalo is a 5.5-point favorite up there in Bills Mafia country, Tommy. This game was played, 3 weeks ago? Didn't get finished?
Both weren't, neither team dominating, in their performances in the wild card weekend. I'll go with the home team in this. I don't feel good about this, but I'll go with Buffalo.
Okay. You going to jump on a table, break one, too?
No.
You're going with Buffalo?
I'm not going Mafia. I'm not going full Mafia.
Not full Mafia?
I'm not going to set anything on fire in the parking lot.
Okay.
So.
Sean, what do you think, man? Are you going to go
Bengals?
Bengals?
I mean, without a question.
Burrow?
Yep.
Chuck?
Got to support it.
Bengals. I'm going Bengals.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Before we go a little further, I got a comment to say. Earlier, they were talking about your age, but you know what? It doesn't matter about your age there, young little pup. But,
young little pup.
Your knowledge outweighs a lot of people.
I'm gonna mark that down. Thank you, Sean. Checks in the
help
mail.
you out, a little support there.
You may need to go to the
Sean.
replay center on that one.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Sean. I'm gonna go. You know what? Since you said that, I'll jump on the board with you with the Bengals. Burrow and company.
You talking about baiting someone in, Chuck? You just baited him right into that.
You know what? I got baited, and I'll take that. So Burrow, I think he's gonna have himself quite a game on the road, even with the depleted.
So Tommy's on the island there.
Looks like it.
Okay.
Looks like it. That's a big point swing potentially. All right, the big game of the weekend for our audience, the Dallas Cowboys traveling to San Francisco. I'd forgotten this was the playoff game last year where the Cowboys lost the wild card. Chuck, I'll let you go first on this one.
I'm not picking against the Cowboys.
Can't do it?
No, I'm not picking against them. I'm not picking against my team.
What do you think, Tommy?
Niners.
I'm going to go the Cowboys. They put on a pretty good performance. So if they keep it up, I think they've got it.
I don't know if I'm necessarily trusting Brock Purdy in this game, but I'm going to trust Shanahan in that defense because Bosa, Armstead, all those guys, I mean, that is a squad. So I'm going to take San Francisco. It's going to be close, but I think they can at least cover the spread in this game.
All right.
I hope it's a good game because I think Cowboy fans are going to be devastated if it's not.
I don't, again, we go back to how many Cowboy fans deep in their gut really expect to win?
Yeah, devastated is a little
every
strong
one of
word
them.
there.
Come on.
I mean, devastated is a strong word.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people are just happy to still be playing football at this point after last week.
I've got a guy who works for me. He is bleeds blue, and he is out of his mind insane happy.
Well, Tom Brady's not the Tom Brady we all grew up knowing and loving, but to go win that game last week, I think it was almost a bonus at this point.
I mean, he's done, right? He hung up his hat?
I don't think we know that officially.
Not officially.
There's that rumor.
Well,
there's rumors.
I would be like,
circulating.
he's a few years younger than me. I'd like to be able to perform at that level at that age.
No kidding. We'd eat what he eats and only drink what he drinks. We probably could.
Avocados all the time.
Yeah, that may help us build more fence, right?
I'm telling you, performance, that's the level right there.
Yeah, so, hey, Fitzman, 782-3936. You love custom jobs. Somebody got a custom, unique idea in mind. You love to do it.
We do. We are growing. I'm adding some more people onto the staff this year. We've been very, very fortunate. The River Valley and Northwest Arkansas has just been an amazing customer base for us. So we have amazing customers, a bunch of repeat customers. So, custom fences, your normal backyard, if you need a fence done, and it's whether it's commercial, gate access, automatic gates, we can do it.
782-3936. That's the Fence Man right there. He ain't afraid of no work. Have a good weekend, man.
Thank you, guys.
All right, hour three coming up next.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. It's where you eat family dinners and make lasting memories. When you use a Weichert agent to help you find your home, we'll help you find the space to make it yours. When you begin your search, know that a Weichert agent will be there with you every step of the way. Because at Weichert Realtors, we guide you home. To get started, call your local Weichert agent and look for our bright yellow signs all over town. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Roger Scott for Leaf Guard. That's Leaf Guard Gutters, the only true one-piece seamless covered gutter system that's guaranteed to never ever clog that's on the market. And how important is that? If you have old regular gutters clogged with muck and mud and shingle grit, add some of this rainwater, toss in freezing temperatures, and now you got a disaster on your hands. That frozen concoction that's just hanging on could cost you big bucks if it rips away from your roof. Stop the insanity. Get Leaf Guard Gutters and rest easy. Act now and save your hard-earned money by taking advantage of the winter savings sale. Half off labor on a complete Leaf Guard gutter system. New orders only. Some restrictions may apply. This sale does not include material costs, so make sure you ask a sales associate for all the deets on that and the 18 months no interest financing, as well as senior and military discounts. The winter savings sale at Leaf Guard of Arkansas. Call them now at 501-664-5400 or visit leafguardandmore.com.
Have a loan with a variable or balloon interest rate and worried about your cost rising? Interest rates are rising and you may have a problem. Farm Credit can fix that. Talk to Farm Credit about locking in a long-term fixed rate for the life of your loan. Farm Credit's long-term fixed rates offer peace of mind in changing economic times. We're offering the longest terms in the ag industry. Talk to Farm Credit today. Find an office near you at myaglender.com. Equal housing lender.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Happy New Year, everyone. Hi, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, the home of inflation elimination. That's right, we've had enough. Thanks to our live market value pricing, our prices are dropping and our customers are saving now. And you can too on a great selection of Rath road-ready vehicles, the best used cars you can buy. Plus, our non-commissioned solution specialists are there for you. Let them worry about making all the numbers work. It's what they're paid to do. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. For even more savings and protection, ask about our new Meineke Mile service contracts and prepaid maintenance products. They'll help you keep your car in tip-top shape while saving you money. So if you're like us and you want 23 to be the best year ever and you're ready for some inflation elimination, start today by driving better in a nicer, newer car from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
And we're back with breaking news. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any Coke fan, so make sure you... Jim. Jim. We're on the air.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me. Your thoughts, Jen?
Well, can I have a sip?
Jen, we're in the middle of reporting the news.
I need to try it first.
Some of my fondest childhood memories are from volunteering with my grandmother. Helping others was her passion. She'd always say, the sweetest fruits of life come from serving others. And she was right.
At Shelter Insurance, we strive to make a positive impact in the communities where we work and live.
Call Randy Milam in Alma or Brandon Zimmerman in Barley.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we should see an ample amount of sunshine or high temperatures in the upper 40s to low 50s. Clear skies tonight and overnight low in the upper 20s. Saturday, partly to mostly cloudy, slight chance of rain, upper 40s. And then it looks like we'll see cloudy skies and low 40s Sunday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
For Ruskin and Zach, it's just not quite fair to listen to Ty crack a beer while on the air.
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com. KERX, Paris Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Grandpa.
Yo.
That's you.
Yeah,
Is this normal down here?
What?
That when it's real windy, it doesn't get quite as windy down here?
Yeah, this blocks it.
Yeah. Is that what usually happens?
Yeah. No, unless it's like serious wind.
Yeah.
It normally doesn't affect the ball too much.
What's up, man?
Juicy throw. Juicy.
Jay Will, I saw you kind of meandering over here, man. What do you do? What do you want over here?
He wants to be a QB.
He does? He throws the ball pretty good, you know? For a third grade, like if you're a third grader or so.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Hour number 3 of the Morning Rush on a Fast Break Friday. Let's talk about Dan Enos here coming up. You heard him and Brandon Allen talking back when they were mic'd up in 2015. He's your new offensive coordinator. He's the guy that's trying to get KJ Jefferson to new heights, and we'll discuss here in this hour.
Fast Break Friday brought to you by QC Kinetics. You don't have to go through another year of joint pain or arthritis that's really keeping you away from the things you love or all the things you love to do in your downtime. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. Their unique protocols use the healing agents from your own body to target the aching joints and repair and restore that damaged tissue. You can get moving again with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. This is really the future of joint pain management, and they have appointments available as soon as next week. 479-999-1234 is their number. That's 999-1234. Make 2023 the year you say goodbye to joint pain with QC Kinetics.
So 2015, you had the second best offense in terms of statistics that you've ever had, only behind the 2010 Ryan Mallett, Nile Davis squad. I mean, they were averaging 36 points a game. They were balanced. You think about Alex Collins. Brandon Allen has his best career as a Razorback. His QBR was off the chart that season. Now, 2016 was good. 2017, not so much. Guys, so we expect a crazy good offense this year in just year one with KJ being what he is as a veteran quarterback in this league?
Well, I don't know how you describe crazy good or how you define crazy good, but I think they'll be okay. I mean, Dan Enos knows what he's doing. I mean, they know how to move the football, and he's got a track record of putting points on the board. I think sometimes we overlook and forget and didn't realize then how good Brandon Allen really is, and that has a lot to do with your success on offense is how good you are there. Look, KJ and Brandon Allen and Austin Allen are all different quarterbacks. They're different type players. The quarterback position's changed since 2015. And but, you know, everything he's done is multiple. He had Tua's little brother at Maryland who started at Alabama and He's not a prototypical drop back quarterback. He's a different quarterback than what Brandon and Austin were. So the position's changed, and I'm sure he's adapted with that, and he'll coach KJ. And KJ's not Brandon, and KJ's not, Tungalovoa. And so, he's going to coach what he's got. He's got a good one, and I'm sure he's excited about working with him.
You're right about his adapting, and everybody has had to adapt. He was a big play action, motion shift guy when he was at Arkansas, but the game's changed. And I don't know what none of us know what the conversations were like between Sam Pittman and Dan Enos, but what would be the number one reason you'd be very interested in this job? It would be KJ Jefferson. You got a good quarterback. Offensive coordinator is going to look at that roster and who I have to coach and what kind of success can I have right away. I would think KJ was a big part of the selling of this job to Dan Enos when Pittman and him had that conversation.
Maybe so. I'm sure in the short term it did. I think the biggest thing here, though, is they're philosophically aligned. They're familiar with one another. The head coach believes in Dan Enos. And obviously, if Dan did not believe in Sam Pittman, he wouldn't have taken this job. So, I think that's got as much to do with it as anything, because you're not just hiring him for this next season. You're not just hiring him, hopefully anyway. You're not just hiring him to work with KJ. I mean, hopefully he's here for a while, and the next guy benefits from him too. So I think they'll have a good relationship, and I'm sure he is excited about coaching KJ, and I'm sure in the short term that is one of the things he's excited about.
In 2015, you had Drew Morgan, older guy, Keon Hatcher, Dominique Reed, who I think just came over from JUCO. I don't think maybe he was there in 2014 as well. I'm trying to think of other wide receiver core. That's the biggest question mark on offense, right? Is what they have at wide receiver. And I know
got some guys in the portal, but you just don't know yet. You got some guys with some height and some size, but you just don't know yet.
Can they get separation?
We don't know.
And they're coming from places that, while they had great statistics at some of these colleges, it's a lot different going up against SEC quarterbacks when you're lining up against Ricks, Stingley, some of the guys that have played in this league.
Very
I mean,
true.
you gotta be a man in the line of scrimmage. You always hear that about offense and defense alignment, the trench play. When you're mano-a-mano on a guy and you can't get separation, your quarterback doesn't have anything to do. That's what happens with coverage sacks. I don't know if these guys can do
they
it.
know that. They know that. And that's what they look for when they go out and sign these guys. I don't think you can compare the receiving core from 2015 to the receiving core now, because it's a different offense. It's a different quarterback. It's a different everything. Quarterbacks aren't doing what Brandon and Austin did now. At least most of them aren't. Everybody's looking for that run-pass guy. And we've got one. And so,
good one.
Again, that position has changed since 2015. A lot of times passed since then. It's hard to believe, but, it really has. The game's evolved, and that position's evolved in a hurry. And so I'm sure he's adapted. I'm sure he's changed.
Yeah. I'd say downfield blocking may be as important as you say, getting off the line of scrimmage and getting separation. There's so many plays that set up where you're coming around the end with a sweep or a run or a quick pass behind the line of scrimmage, and those lead receivers opening up those running lanes is as important as them catching that 3rd and 6 a lot of times.
Well, I think last year you saw on some of the deep plays they were just busted coverage, right? I mean, you think about where Landers was in the bowl game. You had Warren Thompson on. A lot of times 2 years ago it was just Burks beating a guy. They need a guy, and again, it's an All-American. They're hard to come by. They're coveted all over the place, but with KJ having the best deep ball in the SEC, and that's not a Homer radio take, that's literally broken down by Pro Football Focus the last 2 years, better than Bryce Young, Hooker, all these guys. It was unbelievable. I was shocked to see it every game. You've got to have a guy that's a deep threat. You didn't necessarily have that last year outside of Landers at times. You've got to have a guy that, if he's in one-on-one coverage, will beat his guy, because KJ's strength, in addition to running the football, if we're just talking about throwing it, is the deep ball.
Well, tell me the teams that don't need a guy like that.
But that's why the offense.
Everybody needs a guy like that.
But yeah, I know that. But the offense wasn't as good last year as it was 2 years ago because you didn't have that guy.
But I think they know that. I think they know that. And I think they've tried to address that. We'll find out in the fall if they have.
And I hear what you're saying, but how many plays in a game are you going to dial up that's more than 30 yards? The ball is in the air more than 30 yards. I understand that because you can catch the ball at the line of scrimmage and run it for 40, and that's a 40-yard pass play. But how many plays in a game does the ball travel more than 30 yards in the air downfield? Less than 5 between the two teams combined would be my guess. It's just not, because it's a low percentage play. You know, that's the reason it's not dialed up a lot unless it's necessary by time and situation. You just generally don't dial those plays up.
And let's not act like a touchdown off of blown coverage is a bad thing.
No.
Still 6.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not. You got to block it up. What Alabama does a lot of times is they'll have in an extra blocker, so Bryce Young would have time to find Burden or some of the other guys, and you've got to run the football so the safeties creep up, or you got 8 men in the box, or whatever the case may be. But you're right. Like what you are saying, they know that, but they knew it last year and they didn't have it. That was the issue.
The problem is you don't want your opponent to know you don't have it.
Well, I mean, if we want to replay last year, yeah, I mean, you're right, and that's my point. They know that, and they tried to address it, and we'll see if they have. I mean, you're not wrong in what you're saying, but I mean, I think they're pretty aware of their situation.
Remember, you're going to have 40-some-odd new guys on this roster versus last year. So I don't think last year matters much because half the team, at least scholarship players, are different. So I think what Chuck's saying, they've kind of shelled the guys off that can't produce and provide what they need, and they've, what's the ranking on the transfer portal? I mean, they're one of the top teams in the country on transfer portal production. So if that pans out and all of that evaluation, which is off the field, works in your direction right now, then hopefully they've met those deficiencies.
On three's got them in the top 10, 24/7's got them in the top 20. So, again, Chuck, you addressed this a couple weeks ago. I mean, you were just getting slaughtered in the portal. You kept telling everyone to wait until this plays out. We still got to wait because you got another cycle, but we'll at least have a better idea what the roster looks like. I think you said it Wednesday. Is it May something? The next cycle ends?
Well, it's right. They have a shorter cycle at the end of spring practice. I mean, it's right around the end of April, 1st of May when it wraps up. I don't know how much activity is going to go on then. I mean, we're just going to have to see. I'm not sure. We're kind of we're in uncharted waters here. I mean, we just don't really know, and I suspect there will be some out there. Obviously, you're looking for diamonds in the rough. When you get to that point, but. Part of evaluating at the end of the season is where were we? Where were we deficient? I can assure you these guys can tell you every player's strengths and weaknesses, 4 or 5 deep. They can tell you right off the top of their head about a player we don't even know his name. So I think they're very well aware of what they had and what they didn't and what they feel like they need going forward, and that's what you address. And it seems like, based on what we see, and I don't believe in a lot of these rankings, frankly, but we'll find out. I mean, look, if you may have the 25th ranked portal class, but if the best player you've got out of that portal makes a big play to win your biggest game of the year, you had a good year in the portal. I don't care what the numbers say. So, they've addressed what they feel like they needed to address. And, the proof will be in the fall.
I would imagine the vast majority of portal players coming up in this last period here after spring will be players that couldn't earn a backup role. Won't be the people that couldn't earn a start. It would be a lot of them that couldn't move from 3 to 2 on the depth chart or realize that, hey, their playing time is going to be very limited. Or maybe it could be a few 2s that couldn't become a 1. But I imagine a lot of these guys are just simply not going to get on the field, wouldn't produce for you anyway. Maybe you can replace them with someone that can at some point down the road.
Well, I think we've seen it with some of our guys, and I know other schools have seen it as well. Guys enter the portal, and they think they've got it all worked out. They think they've got that new deal worked out, and they find out that they're no different than a marginal high school recruit. You can have an offer on Tuesday, and it's not there on Wednesday anymore. I mean, that's just kind of how it is now, and I'm going to be interested to see going forward. I don't know how it's going to affect this spring, but I think a lot of these guys left with the idea that the grass was going to be greener, and it's not. Some of them have moved from one brown yard to another, and I mean, that's just kind of what's happened, and I just wonder what it's going to be like in the spring as a result of that, and I really wonder going forward. I just think that there are so many kids in it now. Hey, if you want to get lost in the shuffle, be a backup on somebody's football team and enter the transfer portal. I mean, you want to talk about getting lost in the shuffle? So, we'll just kind of see big picture how it goes forward. That's a long way of saying I'm not really sure how much activity we're going to see after spring practice, but I'm sure there will be some.
What was it Pittman said? You went from third on the depth chart to 803rd on the depth chart.
Yeah, that's just how it works. I mean, that's just how it is.
So we've seen him change his approach to that, where initially it looked like if you enter the portal on the team, you weren't coming back, and then he's kind of shifted that a little bit. Is that just a player-by-player basis?
How bad do you need him?
I think we get hung up too much on what somebody said. Oh, he said this. He said this a while back. So this is how it's going to be from this point forward. It's like we said about offensive coordinators. I mean, you adapt or die, and you better adapt. And you may not want it to be this way. What's your hard and fast rule 2 years ago? It might not be a good hard and fast rule today. And what your hard and fast rule is today may not be a good one a year from now. It changes quickly right now.
Nick Saban used to rail against the up-tempo, fast-paced offense, and then he sure changes his tune on that.
Wait, look at Malik Hornsby. Here's a good example of what we're talking about. Everyone was sure, well, maybe Malik should be the starter. Maybe he's better than KJ. Maybe this, maybe that. He enters the portal. A lot of fans listening that call our show text, freaking out. We can't lose this guy. Where does he end up at? Texas State. I mean, and that, I'm not trying to take anything away from Malik, but the idea that you're going to go out in the portal and everyone, from the Buffalo Bills down is after you, it's just not happening. I mean, and that's how you end up at Texas State, because the demand is not nearly as much as you've got in your mind. And I think that's a good study to think about if you're one of these players down the road contemplating the portal.
Well, he may go down there and get to play a lot. And if he does, then it was probably the right move for him. I see a lot of players that are the number 2 guy on a so-so team, and next year they're going to be the number 2 guy on a different so-so team. And their NIL money is going to be about the same. It's going to be bare minimum, and they've, I think they're going to find that, their situation's not a whole lot different at the other place than it was where you were. It kind of works out that way, and it'll be that way when they're 40 or 52. So, maybe it's a good lesson for them.
Yeah, because you are what you are. So, a lot of guys on the move, Chuck. When you find yourself on the move, you need a pro to help you.
No doubt about it, and that's where Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, comes in. And whether you're a buyer or a seller, it pays to have a pro on your side of the table. And I can tell you from experience, from partnering with Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, to sell a house, to buy a house, none of us really know as much as we think we do about all this stuff. But when you turn it over to somebody who does, that's really when you've got a chance to get something done. And because they're trained professionals, they know how to negotiate. Everybody thinks they know about the real estate game, but, being a great negotiator is a big part of it. It gets you more. It gets you a better deal. Sometimes it gets you from contract to close. In fact, most of the time, that's a real key. And that's where they really show their expertise. And I think you'll have the same experience. Now, they've got an office in Fayetteville. They're in Springdale, Bentonville, Fort Smith, Branson, Missouri. And you can log on to WeicherGriffin.com.
So, no, Razorback fans are freaking out because Nick Smith Jr. put a pair of practice shoes or basketball shoes on. He put it on his Instagram story. I don't know, insinuating that he's back in practice. You can read the tea leaves on that. So that's kind of a basketball thing. In addition to the fact that you're hosting Ole Miss tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we'll have the Give Me the Hogs Chuck podcast starting at 10. Chuck, tell our listeners a little bit about Ole Miss. I know they got their first conference win earlier this week.
Yeah, they beat South Carolina on the road. South Carolina's really weird. They played their best basketball away from home. Ole Miss is not a team that shot the ball real well. I mean, that was their first win. And, you got two teams that just kind of grind it out. Arkansas is better at home in that regard. They're a little bit more, tempo. But Ole Miss has been they've just been so-so. And but now, they're going to throw some zone. Kermit Davis likes to play zone. They'll mix it up. Morrell's a good player. They're just trying to figure it out too. And In terms of overall talent, I think Arkansas's got more overall talent, quite honestly. But, you got two teams. I mean, they both got one conference win. So I'd give the advantage to Arkansas because they're playing at home.
I bet when we come out, you said yesterday you're thinking, a 4 or 5 point favorite? Time of the Bet
Saracen. I got the Bet Saracen app up here. I don't know if the line's probably not out yet on that, but I was just looking. So, yeah, I would think Arkansas will be favored by a handful of points.
Yeah.
Count them on one hand.
I will say this. There's been a couple areas of improvement, positivity. I know you still lost the last 2 games, but you have shot the ball better from 3. You actually moved outside of the worst team in the SEC to shooting to the second worst team in the SEC. And I know that's not going to be the primary goal of this team this year is knocking down threes, but I think just seeing shots go through the hoop for Jordan Walsh, who went 4 for 4 in the game on Wednesday. I mean, that's a big confidence booster for a freshman Chuck who was struggling.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't miss a shot. He was 4 of 4 from the floor and hit a couple of threes, made his free throws. It was a big deal when he fouled out. I mean, it was a big deal when he fouled out. And, Walsh had a good game, and you hope he can continue to do that.
So Musk got asked after the game about playing defense without fouling. This is always going to be a physical basketball team. You want them to be. You want them to attack the rim, be aggressive and whatnot. And you could say, well, the officials were too whistle happy in that last game. But can you change that midseason? Or is this always going to be a team that's outside the top 300 in fouls like they are right now?
You got to look at, some of Walsh's fouls just aren't smart defensive plays. Pinion comes in and looks like a hockey play, hip checks. Some of these fouls are just not solid. These aren't effort fouls where you made a good play and you were just whistled for the foul, or you were defending the basket. Some of these are just not smart fouls. That's what I'd say just watching the game. They could eliminate several fouls over 40 minutes just by being a little more fundamental about it.
Yeah,
I think there's some things they can clean up.
I don't disagree with that. I don't want to suggest the other night that most of the fouls they call were fouls.
Yeah.
Now they got a little ticky tack out on the perimeter at times, but look, Arkansas is not a great shooting team, and this is how great teams that aren't great shooting teams have to win. And you look around the league right now. I mean, there are a few teams that play what you might call aesthetically pleasing. I mean, pretty basketball. The other teams, it's pretty rugged stuff, and it's a parade to the free throw line. Now, the bigger question, and is the game best served by a parade to the free throw line for the last 5 minutes of the game, which is kind of what it's turned into. But that's the way teams that can't shoot the ball real well, it's how they win games.
Yeah. Now that's not going away. You got to be less handsy because they drill in Rule 10-1-4. That's brought up every time it's discussed in the training videos. Hey, you don't have to go through another year with joint pain that just debilitates you or keeps you from doing the things you love. Our friends at QC Kinetics are the nation's leaders in advanced regenerative medicine. Their unique protocols use healing agents from your own body to heal the targeted aching joints in your body. So get moving again with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. QC Kinetics, 999-1234, right here in Northwest Arkansas. 999-1234 for your appointment.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on the Morning Rush presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
For more than 4 decades, Burton Pools and Spas has been your source for backyard fun. In that time, Burton's has built over 12,000 pools and installed more than 8,000 hot tubs. That makes the Burton family more than 20,000 members strong. See your options, our story, and customer reviews at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas. We do more than build pools and install hot tubs. At Burton's, we build long-term relationships. Burton Pools and Spas. Springdale and Fort Smith, your source for backyard fun.
Looking for a better rate of return on your savings? Arvest Bank is ready to help with great rates on certificates of deposit. For a very limited time, you can earn 3.03% APY on a 7-month CD or 3.55% APY on a 14-month CD with a minimum deposit of $10,000. Seriously, what are you waiting for? Hurry into Arvest before this deal is gone. Annual percentage yield available for a limited time only. Other rates and terms are available. Member FDIC.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust, Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to ashley.air.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's ashley.air.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Like me.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com to set your consultation. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Do you remember the joy you felt as a kid about pizza night? Remember how good it smelled? You could taste it even before you opened the box. And then that first bite. It was so good. Be the supper time savior. Order Jim's Razorback Pizza now. 434-3456. The best pizza in Fort Smith, or it's free.
Jim's Razorback Pizza. Happy New Year, everyone. Hi, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, the home of inflation elimination. That's right, we've had enough. Thanks to our live market value pricing, our prices are dropping and our customers are saving now. And you can too on a great selection of Rath road-ready vehicles, the best used cars you can buy. Plus, our non-commissioned solution specialists are there for you. Let them worry about making all the numbers work. It's what they're paid to do. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. For even more savings and protection, ask about our new Meineke Miles service contracts and prepaid maintenance products. They'll help you keep your car in tip-top shape while saving you money. So if you're like us and you want 23 to be the best year ever and you're ready for some inflation elimination, start today by driving better in a nicer, newer car from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Now, I remember y'all talking about this, having to get up in the middle of the night and pee when you get older, which I have to do now, which sucks. Like, I never had to do that, and then I turned, 26. What's that called, sleep apnea?
Well, sleep apnea is when your breathing stops. So.
Well, these are issues that, you'll deal with as you get a little bit older.
One of the more intelligent conversations we've had.
You know, you don't know what you don't know, I guess. That's what you learn out of that conversation.
It's a great question to ask. You're
sleep apnea.
The young guys, they still got something to learn. As you I can't call you old heads because you're not that old. Once you pass 60, Chuck, I guess you'll be in that category. But y'all are middle age, so you got stuff to learn, and I got a lot to learn. Kind of where we're at. All right, let's talk to Larry Rath this morning of Rath Auto Resources. Larry, good morning. Happy Friday, man.
Good morning, guys. I hope you're having a good one. It's going to be a beautiful day and a great time to come in and save Rath Auto Resources and Rath Mitsubishi. You know, we've got this inflation elimination going on, and this is real. Our prices have dropped almost $250,000 over the last couple of months. Those savings going directly to our customers. You don't have to wait. You're waiting for this inflation to let off. That's already happened at Rath Auto Resources. It's because of our live market value pricing, and, you know, we're watching that all the time and making sure that our prices always represent a value against the live market. You literally cannot pay too much at Rath Auto Resources for a fine premium pre-owned vehicle. And we've got a great selection of Rath road-ready cars and trucks and SUVs. We keep all the most popular makes and models so you don't have to drive all over town. We make it easy for you. Come on in or go online or give us a call and put us to work. Let us go to work finding you just the right car, making sure that price and payment fits your budget, and then we'll keep you driving better with our Meineke Car Care Center. It really is our secret weapon. Nobody else has that combination. Affordable car care after the sale. We're going to take good care of all your maintenance and repair needs. And, you know, if you're looking for a new car, the new Mitsubishis, we've got inventory. First time in a long time, we've got a big inventory of particularly the new Outlander. If you haven't seen the 23 Outlander, this would be a great weekend to come in, take a test drive in that vehicle, see what all the fuss is about. It really is a terrific car and a real value. When you shop it against the competition, you're saving $5,000, $10,000. That's a great proposition on a car with 100,000 miles of factory warranty. So, folks, we got some fun things going on. We hope you'll come and see us. Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith, Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale. Check out the Meineke Car Care Centers at each location or go online at rathauto.com.
All right, Rath Auto Resources, Fort Smith and in Springdale. Larry, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one. And, folks, come and see us.
I know you got a lot of SEC games coming up this weekend in basketball, but you also have some SEC quarterbacks featured, including Dak Prescott. Dak and company lost to the Niners last year. Here's what he said about the game leading up to Sunday night and kind of what they're looking forward to.
Using that loss last year as a motivation and just kind of the focal point, I guess, of the resiliency that we carried into the offseason, obviously carried into this year. Yeah, we get a chance to go back and, at their place, do something that we want to do.
Now, you can argue that this San Francisco team is better this year, and maybe even the Cowboys, even though they didn't win the division, are better. But, guys, we got a great matchup on Sunday night, and a lot of our fans are going to be watching and listening.
Well, I think it'll be a fun game to watch. I would imagine it'll be very highly rated. And, you know, that's why they've got it in that time slot.
The other games this weekend are Jacksonville at Kansas City. That's the first game, 3:30 on NBC. Then you got the Giants in Philadelphia, another NFC East matchup, 7:15 on Fox. And then you got the lead-up for that Sunday night game is Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. And you think about the best quarterback matchup that we have to look forward to this weekend. You win that game, you'll probably get Mahomes either in Arrowhead or in Atlanta. Guys, we didn't get to see this matchup play out 3 weeks ago because of what happened with DeMar Hamlin and obviously what's going on there. But you talk about quarterback dynamics, there's going to be a lot of scoring in this football game on Sunday.
Yeah, and, you know, the quarterback that avoids mistakes, you know, that's kind of why I think Cincinnati might win this game. I mean, Buffalo, Josh Allen's a great quarterback. I mean, great quarterback. Both of them are. I just wonder who's going to throw the interception. One of them will. There's going to be a great play made by the defense somewhere. And, you know, they're both going to throw touchdowns, and they're going to have a lot of passing yards. But, you know, which one of them has a 0 under that I at the end of the game? I mean, that or you know, a 1 if the other guy's got 3. I mean, that's probably going to be the guy that wins.
A guy that hasn't made a lot of mistakes the last couple of years is KJ Jefferson, at least throwing interceptions. You're hoping with the new OC he stays the same and keeps doing that. We've got Anthony, who's called all the way from Florida, who wants to talk about this new offensive coordinator. Anthony, go ahead, man.
I have a question for you guys. I'm calling as a person who has experienced Dan Enos his play call as a Hurricanes fan. He's very bland and stuff like that when it comes to play calling. Do you guys feel you guys settled your AD and your head coach settled for this hire? And did you wish you got something better? Because I feel as a Hurricanes fan, you guys settled because this guy has a tendency to make horrible play calls in critical moments.
Well, Anthony, I appreciate your concern this morning.
Yeah, here's the deal, Anthony. He was not good at Miami. Just wasn't. I mean, look at the stats. They just weren't any good. But his other stops that he's been on, pretty solid. I mean,
who did he have to work with there?
And I can't think of the quarterback's name, but
that's the point.
They weren't good offensively this year. And again, Arkansas fans will point to 2017. You had Steamboat running that thing. That was just not going to work. And you could say, well, you recruit him. Well, that's fair. And you had Austin Allen and Brandon Allen 2 previous years. 2016, you had a solid offense. 2015, you had a great offense. I mean, they were about as efficient as it gets. So you like your quarterback. You like your running back. So question marks about your wide receivers. Lace them up and see what happens this year, I guess.
So we talked about that Cowboy game a minute ago. Bet Saracen. I'm on the Bet Saracen app right now. Over under on passing yards. Dak Prescott 254. Which way you guys going?
I'll go over that.
Under that defense.
Let's see
and the reason I say that is I don't know if Dallas can run the ball.
That's fair.
To me, that's going to be one of the real keys. If Dallas can run the ball, Dak will have good in terms of completion percentage. He'll have good numbers. If they can't, they'll probably throw for a lot and get beat.
If you want some of those player props or in-game bets, find them on the Bet Saracen app. Go to betsaracen.com or download it in the Apple App Store. That's betsaracen.com.
All right, when we come back, SEC update, talk about some basketball matchups this weekend outside of Bud Walton Arena on The Morning Rush.
You're in the middle of Fast Break Friday on The Morning Rush, presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sacale, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any Coke fan, so make sure you... Jim. Jim. We're on the air.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me. Your thoughts, Jen?
Well, can I have a sip?
Jen, we're in the middle of reporting the news.
I need to try it first.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about. A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit patriottransport.com to apply. That's patriottransport.com.
If you farm, you have enough to worry about without worrying about how much more you're going to owe once your current variable or balloon interest rate increases. Interest rates are on the rise. This is the time to check out Farm Credit's long-term fixed rate options. Farm Credit offers the longest terms in the ag industry. Long-term fixed rates mean there's no surprises and your payments remain the same for the life of your loan. That's peace of mind in this changing interest rate climate. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Set your operation up for success and rest easy. Equal housing lender.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westart Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westart Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Ashley Air. Keeping your home comfortable is what they do best. Trust them with your heating and cooling needs. Go to ashley.air.com to request service today.
All right, let's get into your SEC update this weekend. Look at some other SEC basketball games. Tommy, you have 3 SEC quarterbacks playing this weekend. Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, and Dak Prescott all in action for playoff teams.
Yeah, and, I think it goes back, proves the quality and the strength of this league. I don't know what it says about who's going to win necessarily tomorrow, but it also takes you back to a time where you had quarterbacks in the Heisman hunt from this league. You had a team like Mississippi State that got into the top 2 in the country. Were they 1 or 2 with Ole Miss when they were 1 and 2? I can't remember which one was 1, which one was 2. They were number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, it just tells you the importance of a quarterback. When you go back and you reflect back on the difference in this league, the quality of the league in that brief window, tells you how important the quarterback is, and now it's manifested itself here into a NFL divisional round weekend.
Because I remember that they were number 1 because Arkansas went down there in 2014, lost 17-10.
Okay.
Had a chance to win that game.
I just know that I thought the world was soon to end, and we didn't know that was probably the precursor to COVID when Ole Miss and Mississippi State played as the number 1 and 2 team in the country.
Yeah, it was a...
How'd you like to have long odds on that way before?
It's a weird time. It's kind of like when
I thought I got right with the Lord. So,
all right, some other games this weekend. You've got You've got Vanderbilt against Georgia on the SEC Network. A&M against Kentucky. That'll be an intriguing game. A&M has yet to lose a conference one. Auburn going to South Carolina. Tennessee and LSU. LSU got waxed at home by Auburn. Bama going to Missouri. We'll see if the Tigers can go back-to-back at home, and then Florida traveling to Mississippi State. Which one are you most interested in of those games? I'd probably say A&M at Kentucky. I want to see if the Aggies actually have anything down there.
Who's LSU playing?
They're hosting Tennessee.
I'm interested in that because that's who you play next. So I'll have an eye on that one. But LSU's been on skids. I don't expect that to get any better. They've had to play Auburn, Tennessee. They're going to be hungry for a win coming to Fayetteville because they say they've lost 5 in a row now, I think it is. Tennessee likely 6. Tennessee knows they're trying to win the conference. They don't have a margin for error after losing to Kentucky. So, yeah, I'm interested in how LSU plays. I hope they feel bad about themselves when they get here. But my guess is they're going to taste a little blood in the water, and they think they can beat Arkansas again.
We'll see what the Hogs do tomorrow against Ole Miss.
I hope they're morally crushed following Tennessee.
Yep, and I'm with you in that camp.
Demoralized.
That's going to do it for your SEC Updates, brought to you by Ashley Air.
All right, when you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. That's Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. You got clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your plumbing service today. That's AshleyAir.com, proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics. All right, time to head to Oaklawn and get ready for another big weekend of racing. Our buddy Lang Whitman joins us. You can find him on social media at the Railbird333. Our racing update is brought to you by Marshall's Management. Lang, good morning.
Good morning. Glad to be back with you this Friday after an illness last week, but we're ready to go.
Well, it's been going around, that's for sure. Where do things begin this weekend in regards to trainers and jockeys heading into another weekend of racing?
There hasn't been much change in either the jockey or trainer standings since we last talked about this. Christian Torres still leads the jockey standings with 19 wins, but it is tightening up somewhat with Rafael Bejarano second with 17 wins, Francisco Arrieta third with 16 wins, and lurking a little bit further back is Oaklawn favorite Ricardo Santana with 11 wins. I look for him to move up the chart as we go through the rest of the meet. As far as the trainers, Robertino Diodoro still leads the way with 18 wins. Chris Hartman is second with 13 wins. Ramo Quet is third with 10 wins. But the most interesting thing to me is Steve Asmussen has 4 wins out of 73 starters so far this meet, off to a very slow start.
I always bring that up and ask you because, there's a lot of people that I think bet based on who's riding the horse, who's training the horse. And those standings, I think, matter to a lot of people, particularly the ones that may go just a few times through the year. Who's leading those standings, who's near the top is important.
Right, and sometimes it's like Christian Torres has been riding a lot of horses for Diodoro, and they've been winning as a combination. So, that's one thing. Arrieta rides a lot for Hartman. Arrieta's third in the standings. Hartman's second in the standings for the trainer. So the combos, turn out to be a good deal to look at sometimes.
It's kind of like a quarterback and an offensive coordinator. That's
there you go.
That'd be a good comparison right there. All right, seems like every week we're talking about a $150,000 feature race at Oaklawn, and I think it's just kind of come ho-hum and you brush by it, but another big Saturday feature for a lot of money on the line.
Yeah, the Saturday feature this week, the 6 furlong, $150,000, as you mentioned, American Beauty Stakes. It's carded as the 6th race of 10 races on Saturday. Normally the feature race is the 9th. They must have moved it up in the card maybe for some type of TV purposes or something, but it's only a field of 6, but is highly competitive is what it looks like. The favorites are probably going to be between Sarah Harper from the Ron Moquette barn and Hot and Spicy from the Norm Cassie barn, but Perfect Happiness and Connie Kay might have a say in the outcome of this race as well. Very competitive race. Looking forward to it tomorrow.
Perfect Happiness?
That is correct.
I didn't know there was such a thing, but I guess we'll find out at Oaklawn that there is Perfect Happiness. All right, you always give us a good long shot pick to keep an eye on, maybe a little value on the morning line. Hopefully it holds that way till post, but who's your best long shot today to kind of kick off the weekend?
Yeah, for Friday, my best long shot play, I found one in the 4th race I like. It's horse number 8, Aloe Henry. It's 12-1 on the morning line, and he's a horse that broke his maiden in his last race, December 16th at Oaklawn, in career start number 12. So it took him a while to figure it out. He had several seconds and thirds on his ledger, but never got to the winner's circle. But he did last time, and he stretches out. He won at 6 furlongs. They're going to run him at a mile and 16th today. His first start around 2 turns, and often that's a horse's best chance to win a 2-turn race. So I'm looking for a little bit more improvement today from Ilo Henry, and if he can improve a little bit and to stretch out to mile and 16th, I think he can hit the board and maybe even sneak out a win with a healthy 12-1 morning line.
All right, I know you follow those football games. You got any picks for the divisional round this weekend you want to lay on us?
I'll tell you what, one I have already played. I played Travis Kelce over 79.5 yards.
Now, why do you like that? Why do you like that?
His last 6 playoff games, he's had, I think the lowest yards he's had was 95 or 96. The other games he had all over 100 yards. Add in that the Jaguars are the 3rd worst defense against tight ends in the NFL, and I think a big game from Travis Kelce.
All right, horses and hosses this morning, because you got some hosses that play in the NFL. At the Railbird 333 is where you can find Lang on social media. You can even get a few free football picks this weekend that you normally throw
I've been hot on those.
Yeah.
I've been hot since the calendar turned to 23. I'm 19-2. It doesn't get much better than that.
Wee. So, all right, Lang, glad you're feeling better. Good to hear from you again. We'll talk next Friday.
I look forward to it, Tommy. Thanks for having me on.
Lang Whitman every Friday gets us ready for Oaklawn, maybe a little NFL action this weekend at the Railbird 333. Our update is brought to you by Marshall's Management. Are you a real estate property investor? Do you own multifamily? Do you own some condos, maybe an apartment complex? Who's managing those for you? Are you looking for a better solution to manage your property? Marshall's Management Group is locally owned, fully staffed, and ready to take care of your property. They understand that your lifelong investments are not just buildings. They're not just apartments. They're your money. And Marshall's Management will maximize your bottom line. Marshall's Management Group, 479-242-7081. It's 242-7081. They'll give you a free review of your property portfolio and tell you what they can do for you. So ride into 23 with a better bottom line with Marshall's Management, 479-242-7081, or online at marshallsrentals.com.
Haven't gotten an update with Phil just yet. You think
I have.
Is he still stranded in BR?
Well, here's what's happened with the women's team. It's they're going to make their way back, but the women's team got stranded, if you will, in Baton Rouge last night because the plane that comes back to pick them up comes out of Drake. Well, you couldn't get out of Drake last night. So that's what he was telling me. So they're not leaving the hotel till 11:30 this morning. So he's not going to be back in time. So one of us getting called in out of the bullpen today to come in and help the boys on halftime. So the women's team delayed getting back because apparently there was low temperatures. You know, Drake's down in that kind of that valley as you hit the hole coming into Fayetteville, and apparently temperatures were low last night and some rain and then de-icing and all this stuff. So had to wait till today to come back.
Yeah. See, there's actually a place, Tommy, down there called Phil's, which I don't know how much free time he got after the game last night, but I would hope at some point in time
think
he
he's
gets
playing
to go.
hooky?
I would hope after the game. I mean, if they couldn't get back, I'd hope he'd have some free time to himself. And I've said it before, and I know there's some different opinions on this. Baton Rouge is my favorite SEC town, and I think it's way better than NOLA. But not many people agree.
Well,
with that.
I've only been to New Orleans. I've been to New Orleans half a dozen times. I've not been to Baton Rouge, so I ain't even driven through Baton Rouge. So I couldn't refute that because I don't have a baseline to tell you. But that's a place I want to go.
It's cool, man. The thing is, Tommy,
I'm just looking for good jambalaya and gumbo. That's all I care about.
They got it down there. The deal is, Tommy, the Alex Box series this year was during the second weekend of the tournament, and I was like, there's no chance that I'd get a chance to go to that. This team's going to make the tournament with ease. Now they're
now we got Christian here, a few others. I think I'm gonna have to start doing some of this traveling, doing some of this coverage on the road, going behind enemy lines. Now that we got Matt, we got Chuck, we got Clay. I've got a little more freedom to spread my wings. So maybe I'll relieve you of the burden. On some of these trips.
That's a thought that you can have. I don't know if it's one you actually want to fall through. It's a good thought to have this morning as we close down here on Friday. We've had some good thoughts this morning. I am amazed at how much people have piled on over you over the years in ref, and then everyone's now with you again on the ref stuff because you criticized the officials.
I gave explanation. It wasn't criticism. It was explanation. And when they're wrong, you're not going to listen to what I have to say when they're wrong, or when you think they're wrong. Let me get this right. You're not going to listen to me when I tell you what happened and you feel like I'm defending them if I don't tell you when they were clearly in the wrong like they were the other night and messed a rule up. I try to just be fair and balanced on this stuff.
What did Ryan say this morning? That sometimes they just want to call in and scream and
that's
yell
fine.
And not hear logic and actually how it plays out. What does your Twitter bio say? I don't defend the refs. I defend the truth.
The truth, yeah. And the truth is they messed the rule up the other night.
Yeah.
And with 43 seconds to go in the game, there wasn't enough time to overcome it.
Yeah.
It was a mistake. Now, I don't go as far as some that think it was done on purpose. Then it's not a mistake.
Yeah,
then it's something else, and that's not what's happening here. There's still integrity. There's still honesty, but it was an honest mistake that happened the other night that shouldn't have. So
I think Sakey gave the replay official a raise for screwing over Arkansas.
See, it's when people that think you know what you're talking about, and you say that, and then they believe stuff like that. That's not true. Fast Break Friday, always brought to you by QC Kinetics. 479-999-1234 for our friends at QC Kinetics right here in Northwest Arkansas.
That's going to wrap up the show. I guess I'm sticking around for another 3 hours. Halftime coming up. Greeny is next.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust. Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to ashley.air.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's ashley.air.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
While most of us are familiar with the opioid epidemic, we forget about the threat we faced for decades, methamphetamine. Meth is our biggest drug threat, and the number of people dying each year continues to grow. It's destroying our communities. You know, you've seen it. It might not have been your kid or your parent, but it was someone you know. To find ways to help, go to meovermeth.org. Choose your community. Choose your family. Choose yourself. I choose me over meth.
This message is sponsored by the North Arkansas Partnership for Health Education and the Me Over Meth grant.
Been your source for backyard fun. In that time, Burton's has built over 12,000 pools and installed more than 8,000 hot tubs. That makes the Burton family more than 20,000 members strong. See your options, our story, and customer pools and spas. Springdale and Fort Smith, your source for backyard fun. Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Are you a real estate property investor looking for a better solution to manage your property? Marshall's Management Group is a locally owned, fully staffed property management company that understands your lifelong investments are not just buildings, it's your money. Marshall's Management will maximize your bottom line. Call Marshall's Management Group at 479-242-7081 for a free review of your property portfolio.